shoes. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Hello, I'm Jose Hernandez, and I have been using a wheelchair since my accident in 1995.
My name is Andrea Delzell, and I've been using a wheelchair since I was 5 years old.
I guess if I had one message for the general public, it would be that I appreciate your help. But please, ask first.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that I've actually got everything under control.
I think people get nervous. They don't know how to act, so they pretend I'm not there.
What probably bothers me the most is when waiters talk to my companion and not directly to me.
I think everyone with a disability can relate to that parking spot problem.
We know you're just parking in a disabled spot for a second, but please don't. We're just looking for the same respect and consideration as everyone else.
The United Spinal Association is dedicated to enhancing the quality of life of people living with spinal cord injuries and disorders. Download our disability etiquette booklet at unitedspinal.org.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 95 FM. It's time to get up and get your day started. Morant. A jawbreaker! It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
One day closer to the start of the college football season, rapidly approaching week 0. I laugh every time I say it. Week 0 this weekend with 4 games, I believe, including a big one in Dublin in the ACC with Florida State and Georgia Tech. And then, of course, next week, the college football season begins in earnest. That'll be one of the topics we talk about today as we welcome you in to Sports 56 Mornings on this Tuesday, August 20th, 2024. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd, and a cast of thousands broadcasting live from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. The world's biggest spa sale continues with all types of great deals on all types of spas, including cold plunges, swim spas, and much, much more. Check them out at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of Interstate 40. First hour of the program also brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Weather-wise today, right now we're looking at 67 degrees. Wow, a little bit cooler this morning. It will warm up to about 85, so not exactly the weather that we saw or felt, at least on Thursday and Friday during the FedEx St. Jude Championship. But not too bad for August, 85 degrees for a high. Brilliant sunshine, no rain in the forecast, and that'll be the forecast pretty much for the rest of the week with no rain in sight, at least for the next 7 to 10 days, according to the forecast I'm looking at, always subject to change. Coming up on the program today, Mickey Barker will join us at 9:05 as we have a couple of more weeks with Mickey before we wrap up the golf season. We'll talk about the FedEx St. Jude Championship and everything, of course, that's going on locally here with golf in the city of Memphis. Also, Ed McDougal will join us, a good friend of the show, during Mickey's segment. At 9:25, we will talk college football with college football and NFL draft analyst Joe DeLeon. Will get his thoughts on the upcoming college football season. We'll take your calls and texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 360-8255. We got Humdinger's Trivia coming your way at approximately 8:05. Plenty of NFL news to get into, and a lot of Memphis basketball news from yesterday that we'll touch on here in just a few moments. Some other topics certainly that we'll dive into, and that is your lineup for the course of the next 3 hours here on Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
What's going on?
Did you see the super blue moon last night?
No, I did not.
You didn't see the moon? You can miss it. It's like the brightest moon we'll ever have.
I was in bed by 8:30 last night, and I was not outside after I got back from Tigers football practice.
It's a very rare occurrence to have a super moon and a blue moon at the same time.
Blue moon,
Next one I believe is 2032. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong there, but I believe the next one is 2032 that we will see this again.
So what did it look like to you?
It's just a really, really bright moon. Massive. As big as it gets.
Did you feel like
this
you
morning,
could reach out and touch it?
This morning driving in, it was quite impressive. Because, I mean, we had perfect weather. We had obviously perfectly clear skies, so you could see it all night long, and it's a bright moon. Very bright moon. Super. It does not look blue, though. Although it's a blue moon, it is not blue.
Why do they call it blue?
I was reading some stuff about that. I don't understand all that. That's all.
Do you like all that stuff? Talk about whether it be astrology or science, and talk about the galaxies.
I did take an astronomy class in college. I remember nothing from it.
Yeah, I took the class and almost got thrown out of the university. I've told that story on the air before.
I had a professor for that class he was I'm not sure exactly where he was from, but he was tough to understand.
Okay.
Very tough accent. And I did well in the class, but I got literally nothing out of it. Like, that was one that every time I would go to the class, the moment I walked out the door, couldn't tell you one thing we just talked about. But when we took tests, I passed those.
Well, I'm not proud of this. I've told this story before. For those who are daily listeners to our show, probably heard me talk about this. But I took astronomy freshman year. I'm in a fraternity. I think you get the idea. A little bit too much partying. And at the end of the semester, you had to be actually following the stars in the Western Hemisphere, whatever the hell it was. We were supposed to be dictating it all the time and following kind of the path and all this. So anyway, as fraternities do have, now you were not in a fraternity, so you don't know this, but fraternities keep a lot of tests and papers and other things on file from years past to help out the brothers in need. And so I didn't do a good job in keeping up with this thing. So I saw one from the previous year or 2 years before, and so I copied it. Yeah, I'm not proud. Not proud. So I handed it in, didn't think about it, and then the instructor, teacher, doctor, whoever he was, he got me after class and he said, "Look, man, this is the complete opposite because you've drawn the southern hemisphere and it's the northern hemisphere." Whatever it was the complete opposite. So he knew I had cheated. And they threatened me. Like, I could have been kicked out of school. I don't know what I was doing, what I was thinking. But let me slide. Ended up getting a C in the class, and the rest is history. Got my degree. Although, again, I almost didn't get my degree because I didn't pay parking tickets that I had.
Just shows you really that Maryland doesn't care. It just shows you the poor academic standards of Maryland. This really just illustrates that.
No, we have a lot of professionals in all walks of life that have done pretty well for themselves. But no, it was just, luckily I got a nice instructor who let me slide a little bit. I was just naive to the whole thing, man. To the whole beat, baby.
If you go outside right now, you could probably still see the super blue moon.
I'm going outside after this segment.
I actually think yesterday at like 1:30 in the afternoon was like its brightest. point or something like that. I don't know. I saw a lot of different things on this. There was a lot of, because I originally saw one thing that we weren't going to get another one until like 2037. Then I saw another one that said we were getting another one in 2032. So I don't know when it's happening again.
Okay, wait a minute. Now I remember. Dr. Flynn sent us a video yesterday.
Yes, he talked about it.
And I watched the video, and I remember Dr. Flynn saying, I believe something like 1:38.
Yeah, like that. I think that was like I think that was like supposed to be like the brightest point of it or something like that. I don't know.
Well, I thought he made a mistake. I thought he meant 1:38 a.m. So I never thought anything of it. Because how am I seeing the moon? Sunshine in the middle of the afternoon. Where am I seeing the moon? So I thought he meant 1:38 a.m. I'm not going to be up for that. So thanks for the information, Dr. Flynn, but I wasn't going to be up at 1:38 in the morning. Well, lo and behold, again, I was wrong.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff about. I don't know all the. Supermoon, I believe, is when it's the closest it gets to the Earth and is opposite the sun. So we get the full moon at its closest point to the Earth. I think that's what makes it a supermoon. I don't know what makes it a blue moon. Blue moons come and go.
Well, I've had a few blue moons.
There's seasonal blue moons, and there's others. I don't know. There's a lot of. I'm not hip to the blue moon status.
Isn't there a waning gibbous or something like that? Some weird name, shape of the moon.
Well, I know there's waning and waxing, but I don't know. I don't know about gibbous.
Yeah, I don't know if it was gibbous or not. Waning and waxing, but man,
Guinness.
It's pretty wild.
There's waning Guinness
not
and waxing Guinness. I don't know.
Barrett Salee will be partaking in the Guinness later this week in Dublin.
Oh, speaking of which, did you see the rest of the? Did you see the full Gosder Sheriff story, the whole police report?
No, I did not.
And he has.
I meant to look up that guy.
And he has an explanation. By the way, he played for the Colts. He was the highest paid right tackle in the NFL when he signed with the Colts.
I never heard of the guy. How long did he last in the league?
Like he signed like a $35 million deal with the Colts. I think he was in the league for like 7-8 years. Like when he signed his deal with the Colts, he was the highest paid right tackle in the NFL.
Oh my God! I don't know.
Just shows we don't care about right tackles.
I guess we don't care about offensive linemen, and I should.
So according to the police report, one, they say he did appear drunk when he arrived at Logan Airport.
That's a shocker.
I don't know. I guess witnesses say he appeared drunk. Before the flight left, he allegedly argued with another passenger over seating arrangements.
Told you about the argument.
And then 1 hour in, he walked up to an elderly woman, exposed himself, and emptied his bladder for about 20 seconds.
On an elderly woman?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
He went on, I think it was on X, I don't know, somewhere on social media. He posted a little statement.
Sorry emoji?
That the flight was delayed for like 4 hours. And it didn't leave till like after midnight. And in preparation for the unexpected overnight flight, something like that, he took a sleeping medication that he normally doesn't use, which resulted in behavior that is not representative of his character.
That's so much BS. It oozes BS. Did he fall to the ground and then put on a COVID mask?
I would hope that urinating on elderly women is not representative of your character. That if that is representative of your character, you got a real problem. Not sure that, but
that poor old lady, she survived, right?
Like I can't even.
This guy
again, they were
exposed himself and they urinated on her.
Hour into the flight, so then they turned around and went back to Boston. So apparently, for an hour, she had to sit there
drenched in urine,
covered in urine from this dude.
Gosh, how about the people next to her too?
All right, his full statement. I'd like to address the media reports about me that surfaced today regarding a situation that occurred aboard a flight to Ireland this past weekend. The flight was unexpectedly delayed for approximately 4 hours, did not take off until 12:30 a.m. In preparation for the unexpected
Woe is
overnight
me.
flight, I took a sleeping medication, which where did he get the sleeping medication, I want to know, because that I normally don't use. So if you don't normally use it, where did you get it? Which resulted in behavior that does not represent my character, and I would like to apologize to the passengers and flight crew.
See,
So good. I'm glad he was willing to issue an apology there while basically blaming the delayed flight for urinating on somebody. Hey, my fault. Flight was delayed 4 hours. What am I supposed to do? Oh, by the way, I guess I'm sorry for the whole urination thing.
I'm an eye for an eye guy. I don't turn the other cheek. Sorry. So, eye for an eye in this case. You know where I'm getting at here, right? Off with his head.
They say the crew tried to stop him, but he became unruly and aggressive. On his way back to his seat, he allegedly hit an elderly man with his right hand.
Sure it was his hand?
He is 6 feet 6 inches tall, weighs 280 pounds. State police said troopers had to use 2 sets of handcuffs to restrain him when he was arrested because of his size.
Jeez. You sure it was a sleeping pill he took?
And also, because the incident happened during the flight over Canadian waters, there's also a federal investigation underway.
The Mounties are coming after him.
Send him to Canada. It's a perfect place for him.
Wow, what a story. Creepy.
That is, it's just like, how the hell does that? I don't care how drunk you get. I don't care how insanely messed up you are with alcohol, pills, or anything. How in the world is that a thing? How do you walk up to a woman and pee on her?
I don't know.
There's got to be we need some CTE stuff going on with this dude, apparently.
That's right.
Because that, I don't care. Again, there's no amount of alcohol or pills that you should be able to take that makes that your behavior on an airplane.
Did she look like a toilet? Could he not have gone to the bathroom?
I don't know.
To the restroom?
He took a sleeping pill that he normally doesn't use.
Thing, though. Could he fit in that thing at 6'8"? What was he, 6'8", 255? Or what is he?
6'6", 280.
6'6", 280 fitting into one of those little bathrooms? Woo! So the next option is to be on the old lady, right? That's protocol. My gosh. I spent a lot of time in the air. Not a ton.
I'm not sure if this qualifies
but
as
enough.
assault with a deadly weapon or not.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it may. It may. But I've spent enough time where I've flown around, and I don't recall ever like an incident. Now, there's been incidents with the plane and some hairy situations with weather and all that. But as far as the passengers, other than, a little kid kicking you in the back or something like that, really nothing, knock on wood. I just feel bad for these stories that you hear about the plane, an hour in flight, turns around, goes back to the airport.
Well, so the flight was already delayed 4 hours. Then you finally get to take off. And then an hour into the flight, you turn around and go back. For those,
that's horrible.
Like for those, I'm surprised the whole plane didn't kill him. There's nothing worse than the delayed flight to begin with. And then when you finally take off, because I don't know what that flight is from Boston to Dublin, but pretty good flight. So you're sitting there for 4 hours at the airport. Finally, you get to take off. And an hour into your long flight, you turn around, you got to go back to Boston because of this idiot. And now you're like, okay, now when do we, who knows what time they finally were able to get to Dublin. That'd be like, by the time they got him back, got him off the plane, got a new plane or whatever. I'm assuming you get a new plane. So it had to be sanitized. I don't know. Seems like there had to be some work done on this plane. Can't just throw somebody back in there. So I would assume there's a lot of work.
Bad for the workers.
You got to get them a different plane, different flight. Oh, God, he's lucky he's 6'6", 280. 'Cause if he was anything other than 6'6", 280, that dude's not getting off that plane.
See, I was just going to say that. You hear the stories about an unruly passenger being apprehended by the passengers themselves. I can imagine like a guy looking at another dude going, "You want to take him on? You want to? Can you get the guy in front of you as well? Can you? Nah, we're going to skip this guy." So, and then again, who knows? Gosh, could you imagine if somebody tried to do something and this guy went berserk? That's the thought too. Is this guy's going berserk, as big as he is, crashing into seats and walls? Who knows? He's so big, he might have brought the plane down himself. So that is just.
He needs to be placed on a do not fly list. That dude, to me, that's he should never be able to fly again.
Yeah, something. I mean, seriously.
If you're doing that, you should not be allowed to fly.
Yes, because. What is he actually going to do? Jail time? I don't know in this world that we live in as far as rules and the sentences that go along with them. I mean, I know if he was in Memphis, he'd probably get off the hook. But he should at least be banned from flying. He should. Now, I don't know how long you put the banishment for, but there has to be some consequences for your actions.
Life.
Like I said, off with his head.
You can never fly again. Unless you're on a plane by yourself. You go get your own little private plane. Other than that, you cannot be around other passengers. Not if you're willing to just walk up to people and urinate on them. And your only explanation is, took a sleeping pill because the flight was delayed.
Right. Only on this particular show, ladies and gentlemen, do you hear about the blue moon and about a guy urinating on an old lady in an airplane. But when we come back, we're talking
Maybe he was drinking
Tigers
Blue Moons,
basketball.
and that's what led to it.
Do you have a lawn service and have still battled weeds all summer long? What's up with that? Lawn Solutions will follow up with a short email to you after each visit. You have any concerns or questions, you can simply hit a tab. It takes you right to the owner's email. It doesn't get any easier than that. They believe, Lawn Solutions, that being transparent with customers is an asset to small businesses. So call or text Lawn Solutions. Find out more about them. 901-867-5626. Or go online to LawnSolutionsInc.net. It's a family-owned and operated business. Brandon Holly and his team of professionals can take care of your lawn, and they will get rid of those weeds. But again, if you have any issues, you can contact the owner immediately. Lawn Solutions. Our families are very grateful for the opportunity to earn your trust. So again, give them a call at 901-867-5626 or go online to LawnSolutionsInc.net. They'll rid you of those weeds, any disease your lawn has, any insect infestation. They're the best in the biz. Again, locally owned and operated, it's Lawn Solutions. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 at 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Family Leisure is having the world's biggest spa sale. It's happening right now. You can save thousands on in-stock hot tubs that are ready to be delivered. Family Leisure has spas that start at just $28.99. You know those cold plunges? You can get one for yourself starting at $39.99. Or how about swim spas? They start at $17,499. Plus, Family Leisure has set up special financing just for this event. Have you been sitting
$650 acquisition fee, $20,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE 794-066, MSRP 21,820. Telluride RG 543-666, MSRP 39,835. EV9 R602, 29,603, MSRP 61,035. Lease terms include all rebates and incentives and a PF 695. Includes tax, title, license, registration, and fees. Must finance through Hyundai with approved credit valid through 8/31/24. Dealer stock only.
Hey, yo, Jeff Allen, what's up over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
I know what's down, Randy. Prices at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah. You looking to save? 41 MPG Highway in a 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, $37.99 due at signing. I've got a 2024 Kia Telluride S front-wheel drive, $379 per month, $39.99 due at signing. And Randy, talk about saving big bucks. 304 EPA estimate range for $389 a month in a 2024 Kia EV9 Lite, $49.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease.
Plus the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights, open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Starting a little bit busier than it was in the last few minutes. Coming down 385 Bill Morris Parkway, coming in from Collierville. Still not bad up to South Haven right now. On 55 going northbound, you got all that traffic volume on its way right now. Coming up from DeSoto County towards South Memphis. Still not bad as we check out 51 southbound there coming through Millington. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64, is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back, everybody. So I am very, very proud of myself because there is a waning gibbous, and there's also a musical group known as Waning Gibbous, but there at least is a moon that is, it's in the phase of the waning gibbous.
We got a text on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line, 360-8255. Says a blue moon is usually a second full moon in a calendar month. That's the most familiar blue moon. There are other lesser-known blue moon occurrences.
That's why it's every blue moon.
Once in a blue moon.
Yeah. That's where the phrase comes from.
But how long is that?
I don't know.
Because once in a super blue moon is like, 7 years or 8 years.
There's a super blue moon?
That's what last night was.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, wake up.
It's like a, what do they call the cicada? Those things come out every what?
Cicadas.
When do they come out? Every 13 years? Every 7 years? According to some, people born under the waning crescent or waning gibbous moon phases may be compatible because they both share a forward-thinking nature. Other traits include these people may be spontaneous, free-spirited, and enjoy being the center of attention. Maybe the offensive lineman was born under a waning gibbous moon phase because he certainly was spontaneous, free-spirited, and the center of attention.
He's not afraid to show his waning gibbous.
Not afraid to show his full moon there. All right, let's talk some Memphis basketball. Yesterday, plenty of news for Tigers basketball, although the schedule not officially released just yet. There is one home game that is yet to be announced, but it has been agreed upon. Contracts have been signed. I'm not privy to that information, but I'm sure that will come out soon. But yesterday, it was about two different things. One, about the Maui Invitational, which I'll talk about in a second, and the other being an exhibition game. And now, this should come as no surprise because Penny Hardaway has talked about this before. He was certainly going down this avenue. And I think it's smart. The Tigers will play Alabama, a team they're pretty familiar with over the last 4, 5, 6 years, whatever the case is. They will play Alabama in the Rocket City Classic. It was officially announced yesterday, not by the school, but by the people that put on the Rocket City Classic. It'll be October 28th. It will be a neutral site preseason charity exhibition game. It'll be staged at Probst Arena in Huntsville. Now, proceeds will go to support the Huntsville Hospital Foundation. The admission is free, so I assume that's first come, first served to get into line, but they suggest a voluntary donation of $20 at the door. All for a great cause. Makes a lot of sense, but I don't believe you can go online and buy tickets because, again, the admission is free. So you got to get there early if you're going to go and watch the Tigers and the Tide on October 28th. Great tune-up to see where you are. So I think this is very smart. Again, Penny was leaning towards doing this. Now, with that exhibition game, can they still play a second? Can they play a second against a big name, or do they have to play a smaller school like a Lemoyne Owen or a Christian Brothers or a Lane? Do you know what it is now that they have this big game against Alabama, albeit an exhibition?
I believe you could do another charity exhibition if you want.
Right. You could play two, even though this one's a big boy. So that's announced the 28th of October in Huntsville. Also, John Rothstein reporting that the Maui Invitational, which will take place over Thanksgiving, back in Maui, which is fantastic, in Lahaina at the Civic Center there. The Tigers will play two-time defending national champion UConn to open up that competition. The other matchups, according to Rothstein, Auburn, Iowa State, Michigan State, Colorado, North Carolina, and Dayton. Now, this is going to be certainly a challenge. The Tigers will also play San Francisco going out to Maui. They'll stop in San Francisco. They'll play at the Chase Center, and then they'll go on to Maui. But to open up against UConn, wow, that won't be easy.
No, that's, obviously that field is stacked all around with some great teams, so you're going to be tested no matter what. But yeah, it doesn't get much better than the two-time defending champions to get you started in Maui.
Now, the Tigers open up with Missouri on November 4th, so they'll have games under their belt. They have that exhibition game. We'll find out a lot more in those games about what this team is all about. There is not only a little bit of mystery, I think there's a complete shroud of mystery on this team and what they are capable of doing. Who knows what we'll see? But the daunting task of trying to take down UConn, right off the bat, I would be surprised, again, no matter what this team ends up being like, to be able to topple a team like that. So you're probably playing out of the loser's bracket. I don't want to say that's automatic because it's not. That's why they play the games. You never know what's going to happen. And this very well could be a Memphis team that quietly, where people don't know a lot about them because there's not been a lot said about them by the coach, where in years past he has talked a lot about his team. This year he's very quiet in that regard. So maybe they surprise in the sense that they sneak up on people a little bit. Last year it was the much heralded roster with big-time players from big-time programs. This roster, which again is brand new, features some very capable players, some from smaller schools, some from larger schools like Tyrese Hunter, but we don't know. So who really can guess right now what they're capable of doing in Maui? I just know that UConn is a well-oiled machine, and to open up with them is going to be a daunting task. But if you're going to be the best, or certainly be one of the best, you got to beat the best, or at least hang in there with the best. And we'll see what happens as far as that's concerned. But I love the fact that they're going to have the exhibition game in Huntsville. They're going to play Alabama. So the schedule, which again, Penny is really good at putting together a strong non-conference schedule, and he has to with the conference they play in. So home games, non-conference, Missouri on November 4th, Arkansas State on the 8th. Actually, Louisiana Tech before that on the 4th. This is the 4th of December. Arkansas State, the 8th of December. Ole Miss on the 21st of December. Mississippi State on the 28th of December. There's still one game that has not been released. That information is not out there yet. Then they have the away games at Clemson on December 14th, at Virginia on December 18th, the return games from last year, which Memphis won against them, won both those games. At San Francisco, as I mentioned, before they go to Maui, and at UNLV. That is a tough non-conference schedule.
Yeah, it's very, very tough. And certainly, the exhibition doesn't mean anything, obviously, for the season, record-wise, but to throw that in there as well, very much extremely tough. We're just talking of the Power 5 schools and everything else, the SEC schools that you're playing, programs who had good years last year mixed in there. Going to be Missouri is going to be a much improved team. Had one of the best recruiting classes in America. Certainly Mississippi State and Ole Miss figure to be teams that are competing to get into the SEC tournament. Clemson had the good year last year. Virginia certainly has been a consistent program. So San Francisco was good last year. So yeah, it's going to be, again, with the conference what it is, because there's not much left there. This is where you got to try and earn your quality wins to give yourself a seed that you hope to get in the NCAA tournament. Just winning your conference, a bad conference that could very well be a one-bid league, that's not going to do a whole lot. So you're going to have the quality wins elsewhere. And this is certainly, they've given themselves that opportunity, because regardless if you win or lose that first game in Maui, you're going to be playing good teams out there. Right. Like it's just when you're talking the Michigan States and Auburns and Iowa States and North Carolina's, like no matter what, like I don't care what bracket you're in, you're probably going to play some pretty darn good teams out there. So, you would love to beat UConn. That's awesome. But what you can't do is go out there and go 0-3.
And that's why you play in these tournaments. You get 3 for 1. You're going to get quality opponents throughout. It makes an awful lot of sense. Now, last year they went 2-1 and had a great start to the season, and we know what happened. They are not going to play in conference a top 50 team. Florida Atlantic is not the same Florida Atlantic as we've seen the last 2 years. Dusty May's gone. Star players are gone. And they are going to, I think, fall back into what they were before Dusty May. And that's just a pedestrian team. Even though it's a beautiful part of the country, for Florida Atlantic's fans, you would love to see them put money into the program. They play in a shoebox arena, which is not always a bad thing when you pack the place. But they're not the Florida Atlantic we saw the last 2 years. They had a nice run. After that, who else is going to be a challenge? Now, Memphis screwed up royally last year in conference. And there'll be games that they're taking to the limit. There's no question about that. And I'm not saying that this is some superior team. I don't know this team yet. I don't know it. But you have to win the conference. There's no doubt about it. You are head and shoulders above everybody as far as what type of program you are. And so the quality win category is going to be empty when you look at all the W's they're going to get in the conference. Where's the quality coming from? Knocking off UAB? There's none. So you have to play these type of schedules. And again, Penny is not shying away from anybody. I give him a lot of credit. He is reaching out to every single big-time program. He's being told no at times. Other times he's He's probably being told, okay, neutral, maybe we could play on a neutral court, but you also have to make the home schedule appealing. And they did a good job. They really did a good job. I am waiting with bated breath for this other team to be announced. I heard again, it's not going to be a slappy. It may not be the biggest name, but it might be a decent name. I think it will be a decent name. We'll see. That's what I was told, but that should be coming soon. And then after that, again, once you get into conference play, you're there hopefully for your school, for your team. You're rooting on the Tigers no matter who they're playing. But it's not always an easy sell in this day and age for your entertainment dollar just because you roll out of basketball and you go out there and play. Sometimes it has to do with who you're playing. That's why there's a lot of the package, the little smaller package deals for the Grizzlies where you don't have to commit to season tickets, 41 home games during the regular season. You have these other packages that may be 8 games or 12-game packages, or where you can pick out the teams you want to see, because everybody is not enthralled by a bad opponent. You know, the Portland Trailblazers coming in, you're not enamored with that. But again, for the most part, you hope that the people that are buying these tickets, they're there strictly because of what the Grizzlies bring to the table, and it doesn't really matter who they're playing. But we know differently. And that's the same with college basketball. You have to make the home schedule as attractive as possible. That goes for all sports across the board.
But yeah, I mean, it's in today's world generally. I mean, especially when you're playing in an 18,000 seat arena as a college basketball team, like it's not easy to fill 18,000 seats.
Right.
I mean, that there's not many that can or do. People have gotten very comfortable staying home and watching games on TV when every game is available somewhere, whether it be on actual TV or streaming online. One could watch and sit at home and watch every single game. So, yeah, you need to give them a reason to believe it's going to be a good game. I mean, if you're playing somebody that they think you're going to beat by 40, what's their real motivation? Especially if it's the middle of the week. Do I want to drive downtown, go through all that, parking, game, getting out of there, fighting traffic, getting home at whatever time to watch you beat some team by 25, 30 points? Most people are probably going to say no to that. Like, no, like I got better things to do.
What do you think is a good number for season tickets sold for a season for Memphis? And then when it's all said and done, average tickets sold per game, which would include single game sales and things of that nature.
Well,
if you got if you got 8,000 season tickets, that would be great, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure that's, I mean, part of it too is it's one thing about having 8,000, if you have 8,000 season tickets, well, also need people to actually use those season tickets.
Sure, that's a whole other issue. But I'm just saying on the surface, you sell 8,000 season tickets. I think that's pretty good. Again, it's a cavernous arena.
That'd be very good. I don't know where they are or where they were like last year on season tickets. I have no idea. But no, if you could have 8,000 season tickets, yes.
And then as far as actual tickets sold, it has to be 5 digits, right, to make it successful. You have to sell, in my opinion, an average per game, 10,000 tickets. Now, there won't be 10,000 people in there. I understand that. But if you could sell 10,000 on average per game, 8,000 of them season tickets, I think you've done really, really, really well in this day and age. And you explained many reasons why people are staying at home. That would be great. That may be too much to ask for. But again, I don't know the numbers. I'm not a numbers guy as far as tickets are concerned. It's always a little
to me, I
baffling.
Think the hope, when you're facing a Louisiana Tech or an Arkansas State or really any of these conference games, like if you can you'd love to get 8,000 people in that arena for a game like that. that may not be realistic right now. If the team's ranked in the top 5 in the country, then yes, you can do that. But when you get Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Missouri, like that's especially Ole Miss and Mississippi State because you figure they're going to bring some fans,
Right.
So those are the games like you should be able to. You hope that you can get 12, 13, 14,000 people in there, and that's to make your average. I mean, the problem the last few years is was it 2 years ago? Like I don't think they ever had actually over 10,000 people in the building. I mean, Houston, which was a great game, got them like maybe right at 10,000 if I remember correctly.
Right.
Like that you need the games where you're getting the 12, 13, 14,000 people to help out. I get some of that will be based on date, time. Some of that will limit that, but you got to, because again, with the conference games, you're not. There's just not any premier game. So you're not drawing a bunch for any conference game.
Do you think that's more, and I know it's a combination of all these things, I understand that, but do you think that's more because of the convenience of being able to see just about every game either on television or streamed, like the games I do on ESPN Plus, the lack of huge names in the home schedule, although it's better this year, or people just not wanting to go downtown?
It's everything.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of different.
Is there one more than the other?
There's a lot of different things that combine for it. It's just it's easy for people to find an excuse not to go to a game because again, just the idea, like I don't have to, like I can watch it no matter what. Every single game, I can watch it. I can pull it up on my giant TV, sit in my home, spend no extra money on parking or food or drinks, and be back and be in my bed at whatever time I want to.
Right.
Rather than drive all the way down there, park, spend who knows what on food or drinks, and then get home at who knows when because of traffic and everything else trying to get out of there. So, especially if it's a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday night game and you got work the next day, kids got school, whatever. So, there's going to be a lot of things. And there are some people that, don't want to go downtown. There's just a lot of, it's always easy for people to find a reason not to go to games.
See, the counter would be for me, and I know people are saying, well, Greg, you go to these games for free. You're working the game or you're just going there with your press pass, and that's true. But when I was young and I got to go to a game occasionally with my family, and there was nothing close to where I lived. It was an hour away. It was the highlight of my summer or my year. There's nothing that replaces live sporting events that you're at. TV's great, and it is convenient, but being there in that atmosphere, there's something like that. There's nothing like that, rather, at least in my opinion. Now, maybe other people don't feel that way, but to me, it's being at a sporting event, whatever it is something special. I mean, I've lived my whole life for sports. And so I love being there. Again, I don't have to shell out the money. And I understand, the plight of people that can't afford it.
But I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who will say, like, I've gone to those Tiger games when they're playing some crappy opponent and there's 4,000 people in the arena. It's really not that great of an atmosphere. Like, I don't have to be a part of that.
Right.
Like I said,
sure.
It was kind of like, okay, whatever. Like, again, if you're playing a big-time opponent, especially when you get an opponent like a Mississippi State or Ole Miss where you figure opposing fans there, local rival, and I use air quotes around rival, all of that stuff, like, yeah, then if you get, and again, if the Tigers were ranked in the top 5 in the country, like when Cal was here, people will be out. Then people don't care about the opponent. People will just come because they want to see. They don't have to worry about the opponent. They're seeing one of the best teams in the country on every given night.
Then the argument is that no matter how good your team is or how bad they are, it's your team, it's your alma mater, you should support them. That, I think, adage is out the window, especially in this day and age. There has to be reasons beyond that why you support them.
This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Go to biggreenegg.com. Get all the details about the best grill there is. If you ever have the question about is it worth it, the answer is quite simply yes. The only thing that I regret is I waited so long to get the Big Green Egg because I had those questions as well. But you don't want to be why be buying a new grill every 3 or 4 years because they rust out or whatever. You get the Big Green Egg, you don't have to worry about that. The lifetime guarantee, it's going to last forever. The versatility is absolutely amazing. And let me tell you, it makes grilling so much better. You can also go to the Ace hardware stores in town. They carry the Big Green Eggs. You can see all the different sizes. Pick out the right one for you. All the accessories. Figure out all the things you need. You can also go to Hamilton Fireplace as well. It is the best grill there is. That is the Big Green Egg.
This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. Call me at 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Or visit us online at brianelderroofing.com.
It's rainy season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Simple, smooth, and every sip is easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent out to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff, just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
So last year, I was able to find the story that Jason Munz did that broke down the attendance last year and all the numbers. So the highest attended actual attendance game was Clemson. 10,587. They had just almost 9,600 for Virginia. UAB was just over 9,000. Vanderbilt was 8,900.
That's tickets sold?
No, this is actual people.
Actual people in the building, okay.
You did the Jackson State 5,300, Alabama State 5,800. Like those numbers aren't bad. Like if you can get 5,000 to 6,000 for the Jackson States and Alabama States of the world, I think that's fine. Austin P had 6,900. But that the premier games again, I think you'd hope to get 12, 13, 14,000. Obviously, Clemson, Virginia, that's not that's not the local type things that you have with Ole Miss and Mississippi State. So, really, I mean, the Ole Miss Mississippi State games, I think this year are the ones you would really like to see get bumped up there. Vanderbilt, I think you would like to have had more for a Vanderbilt game than 8,900. But Vanderbilt going through some struggles with their basketball program, not what Vanderbilt maybe normally would have been if it was 5, 6, 7 years earlier.
Well, what about, other than UAB, other conference games, as the season got away from them, what was attendance like? So into February, late February.
Charlotte was 4,800.
There you go.
Tulane 6,300. Wichita State 6,800.
Okay, that's not bad.
Rice 5,800. UTSA was 5,500.
And again, that's people in the building. So that means there was more tickets sold because everybody who purchases a ticket is not going to the game. But what was the total tickets sold for the year, I wonder, as well? I mean, those numbers don't sound that bad.
Their average announced attendance was 12,276.
Okay, so they announced 12,200. Again, wonder what the actual tickets sold. Is that it? Is it 12,200?
No.
I mean, no.
That's
freebies that they give away and things of that nature. But yeah, I think that's the number we're talking about. You got to get over an average of 10,000. But season tickets, I think 8,000. If you get 8,000 season tickets, you've done a really good job. Now, we'll open up hour 2 with Humdinger's Trivia. We got NFL to get into as well. And then we're going to be really busy with guests in hour number 3. But I want to dive into making the transition from attendance for basketball to attendance for football, specifically the next 2 years with the renovations at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. We'll talk about that.
That, by the way, the average of 6,800. That was the average, 6,827. The year prior, that was actually down from the year prior. The year prior was 7,458
per game attendance.
Actual people in the stands.
Okay.
The announced attendance was 12,276. That was up from 11,444 the year prior. So their announced attendance went up. But again, that doesn't mean anything. Announced attendance really doesn't mean literally, it means literally nothing.
No, I would like the actual number of tickets sold.
Because their whole thing with the Grizzlies is only about the amount of people that are actually there. And so like really the announced attendance, other than like, hey, look, we have this as our announced attendance, means literally nothing.
Well, it always puzzles me when I'm at a Grizzlies game and they announce a sellout and I can see open seats. So is it sold out because they actually sold out all those tickets and those people did not use those tickets? Or was it tickets distributed? We're talking about, like we just mentioned with Memphis, some of those are the freebies they give away, discounted tickets. I don't know what those numbers are. They're very confusing.
Well, again, like if the Grizzlies get anywhere near a sellout, they're going to announce a sellout.
Even if it's not really a sellout.
I mean, there are hard sellouts and then there are announced sellouts.
Just like there's hard seltzers and regular seltzers.
Like they're just like, it's again, because it's not like there's not some like somebody that's going to come in and be like, you guys lied, and you're like, you have to serve a penalty for announcing attendance that wasn't there. Like, nobody care. Like, you're just literally announcing a number. No, nobody knows.
Right. The one thing that
you
really
can claim, no, we sold all those tickets. People just didn't show up. Okay, whatever. Move on.
The one thing that always confuses me is the announced attendance at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. But we're talking about normally, before renovations, 65,000, and without the areas that are chair-backs, you have, you shove people, 3 people into a spot of one. I mean, it's very confusing there, too, because I always think they under-announce the attendance. I always think it's more than what they announce. Whereas with the basketball games, Grizzlies and the Tigers, I always think there's the opposite. I think there's less than what they announce. But with the Tigers, I always think there's football. I always think there's more than what they announce.
If I'm not, I don't know what the number was like this past year, but if the Tigers, now the one game last year where they had with South Florida, where the weather and everything else, I don't know what they announced for that, but literally, they're because of the way they do the announce for a basketball game, literally, if nobody shows up, they'll announce 11,000.
I know.
Because it's tickets, it's
right.
ushers, it's everybody that is supposed to be in the building.
Dog.
It literally, I think if nobody shows up, they announce around 11,000 people. So that's when I used to. I remember when I used to do PA announcing for the Redbirds. We always had the contest in the press box of guess the attendance. Well, you knew what the standard number was. It was never going to be below a certain number because of season tickets and all that stuff. So if there's nobody in the stadium, you were 5,200 because that's the lowest they could possibly go.
COVID year must have been something across the board in sports. Tonight's attendance, 6,007. There's nobody here.
Because there was a point where the Tigers were announcing the actual people in the building, and then they realized, well, that's just dumb. We could announce the other one, and it makes us look better, even though, and nobody really cares. Folks, Genesis Diamonds, they care. They care about you, and they care about making sure that you get fantastic jewelry for whatever special occasion you've got coming up. Whether it's getting engaged or celebrating an anniversary or a birthday or whatever, you're looking for a special piece of jewelry, go see the folks at Genesis Diamonds with all the top lines of jewelry that you can imagine. Most of those made right here in America, those top designers, rings that are made to last, great pricing, direct importer pricing that you can take advantage of as well, and great people, not commissioned salespeople, to help you pick out that perfect ring or that perfect pair of earrings or that perfect pendant. Maybe it's a pre-owned Rolex watch. They've got an incredible collection of those pre-owned Rolex watches that you'll find at Genesis Diamonds, where luxury and value come together every single day. Poplar and Perkins Extended is where you'll find them. Genesis Diamonds.
Hour 2 on the way. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Are you looking to save on gas? Well, we got it covered at Gossett Kia on the Pike with 41 MPG Highway and your new 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $37.99 to its signing. Or how about a 2024 Kia EV9 Lite with 0% APR available for 48 months? Or get 304 EPA estimated range for $389 a month, $49.99 to its signing. All 24-month lease. Plus, you always get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He's ready to put you in your new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike or online 24/7, 365 at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Acquisition fee $20,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE 794-066, MSRP 21820, EV9 R60 29603, MSRP 61035. Lease terms include all rebates and incentives, and PF 695 includes tax, title, license, registration, and fees. Must finance through Hyundai with approved credit, valid through 8/31/24. Dealer stock only.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
There is no reason to suffer the Memphis summer heat when you could just haul yourself downtown to Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect neighborhood bar. There's nothing like the cool, comfortable atmosphere at Bell Tavern. Just grab a table or a stool at the bar and watch the poor suckers that don't know any better walk by in the withering heat in Barbaro Alley when they could be like you, inside Bell Tavern, laughing at other people. I know, it's not nice to laugh at other people, but when they're walking right past Bell Tavern, well, honestly, they kind of have it coming.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still a little bit heavy out here on 40 coming westbound in from Fayette County as you work your way down the interstate here on 40 West coming past Germantown Parkway all the way to Sycamore View Road. It's a little bit crowded from time to time on 240 east and westbound there at Walnut Grove. It's finally picked up with more volume trying to get up through South Haven right now as we check it out live on 55 northbound all the way up to Elvis Presley and Brooks. Weimer's Jewelry 7525 Highway 64 is your full service family owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:06 the time, hour 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd with you. Broadcasting live from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale going on right now at 2120 Whitten Road. That's just north of I-40. Currently 70 degrees. Today only 85 for a high, sunshine, and tonight 62. Mostly clear skies. That's your low. Wednesday looks like 84 for a high. That's not too bad with sunshine once again. Second hour of the program is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Give you a little more information on the great folks at James Gaddis Jewelers in just a moment, but it is Tuesday. That means it's time for Humdinger's Trivia.
That's right. And of course, if it's Tuesday, that means at Humdinger's, they celebrate Taco Tuesday with their chicken and fish tacos, just $2 each. That's all day, each and every Tuesday over at Humdinger's. You can take advantage of that great deal like so many other people do. But any day that you go by Humdinger's, you're going to get great meal, great value, healthy items, all those different grilled fish options that they have with some of their great toppings and their great sides. They, of course, got many chicken items to choose from. They've got sandwiches. They've got salads, great appetizers like the Humdinger shrimp or the crab cakes or the calamari. You can find it all at Humdinger's over at Poplar and Massey. If you go to humdingersrestaurant.com, the website, you can see the entire menu right there. You can also get information about catering. If you need an event catered, they certainly can take care of that for you. And you can get information about catering right there on the website at humdingersrestaurant.com. Check out the various menus and things that you have options for when it comes to catering from the great folks over at Humdinger's. If you are able to answer our trivia question correctly, and you are the first to do so, well, then you win a $25 gift certificate to Humdinger's. And you can answer via text on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255. 360-8255. Text in those answers. You only get one guess. And if you won in the last 30 days, well, you are not eligible to win. Got to wait at least 30 days in between winning those gift certificates. Here is today's question. Among the returning college football quarterbacks, so the quarterbacks who are back this year in college football, who threw for the most yards last season? Among returning college football quarterbacks, who threw for the most yards last season? 360-8255, 360-8255. Text in those answers. And again, the first correct answer will get a $25 gift certificate to Humdinger's. Which returning quarterback threw for the most yards last season?
Speaking of quarterbacks, I was back out at Tigers football practice yesterday. Seth Hennigan looked sharp. He looked sharp. Everything he threw was right on the button, right between the numbers. Tigers also, as a team, look bigger. They just look bigger. Now, compared to an Ohio State and Alabama, I'm not delusional, but there are some big guys, and just overall size of the team, I think, is bigger than I've seen in the past. Doesn't always equate to better, but you hope that it will if you're a fan of the Tigers. Very excited as we are just a little over a week and a half, or a week and a half maybe exactly, from the first game of the season as the Tigers will take on North Alabama. We were talking about the attendance for basketball and the expectations at FedEx Forum. We were talking about that at the end of the first hour. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this to open up hour two. The transformation of FedEx or Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium and attendance. When you have a season that's as anticipated as this one, you would have to think, even though it's not this incredibly attractive home schedule, getting back to what we talked about before, you can watch games at home, you could avoid concession prices, parking, traffic, and all that stuff. But you would think with that anticipation that maybe Memphis would threaten, if not surpass, their all-time total for season tickets. Season ticket sales in the past, I would think, and I don't know this for a fact, maybe 22, 23, somewhere in that neighborhood.
I don't think they've ever been that high.
Okay.
I don't know. I want to. I feel like it was in the
18,
16 to 18 range.
Really?
Most years, but I'm not positive on that.
Well, this year you have a stadium that will seat basically around 32,000 people. Now, Harold Grader was on with us last week and talked about the time that the AutoZone Liberty Bowl rolls around, that capacity will be about 39 to 40 is what he said. Correct?
Well, for them, because they're not
right.
blocking off some of the seats that Memphis is with the decks and things like that. So if you open up those seats, it'll be about 39,000.
Right. But the 32,000 or thereabouts capacity number. It's interesting when we talk about on-campus stadiums, which is a topic that we've spoken about ad nauseum. It's not going to happen, not in the immediate future anyway. That, what size would you want? I think most people liked about a 40,000 seat stadium. I think 30 would probably be too small. But the point is, at 32,000, with a team and the season as anticipated as it is, they should be able to get that. And it'll look pretty cool, even though it'll look weird with the sides gone and the whole west side being renovated and all that stuff out there. That's going to be weird in and of itself. But when you look around and you see basically a packed house, that kind of gives you the thoughts of that's what it would look like on campus, stadium, crowded like that. Because it's very tough when you have Tigers games, let's say, in conference. Unless it's a big game like game day with SMU and some of the bigger games they've had. It's just a regular conference game, and you get 30,000, 28,000, 33,000 in a cavernous stadium. It looks empty. But the look will be different the next 2 years. And I think that's exciting in the sense that you're going to look around and you're not going to see these big gaps of empty seats. I don't believe. Because, again, the
You're going to
anticipation...
see big gaps without seats.
We're going to see gaps.
We're going to see literally a big gap with no seats. We're going to see the Mid-South Coliseum.
Well, seats that are available, we won't see gaps where people won't be there. But maybe there will be. That's my point. That's my question. In a season where it's as anticipated as it is, even though season tickets have never hit 30,000, walk-ups, single-game purchases, things of that nature, there is no reason why you shouldn't be right around capacity, even playing North Alabama, even playing Troy, which is a good program, that you should have those type of numbers. If not, you scratch your head and go, how can you get to that point? Because that's really where you need to get, to about that 30,000 minimum every single game attendance.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to get there. I think it's like, we talk about trying to draw people to the basketball games. To me, the challenge that schools face now of trying to get fans to come to football games is even harder than basketball. Because I mean, you can literally sit at home on a Saturday and watch basically just about every college football game that's on. Like you could sit there and flip between game after game after game after game all day long. Start from 11 a.m. until midnight or later. Multiple games on all day long throughout the day. Whereas you go to a game, well, yes, it's go out there, tailgate, good time, all that stuff. Like, you're kind of locked into one game. Because it is a day. You are spending the day out there at that game. So, trying to convince people, again, that, yes, dedicate yourself to our one game rather than watching 40 different games at home on your big screen TV. It's a big challenge for colleges to try and pull that off.
It all depends on how much of a diehard you are about that particular team. Are you an alum? How much do you care about that particular sports team, whether it's football or basketball, within that university? That's what matters. I mean, it's the same deal for Ohio State fans, but they pack the stadium to watch their Buckeyes. They're not worried about other games around the nation.
But again, it's different when you're ranked number 1 or number 2 in the nation.
Right.
In any sport.
But this year, again, you're not in a Power 5 conference, mind you, but...
And Ohio State's playing other Big Ten teams. They're not playing
right
East Carolina,
right?
And
but that's when we get
Texas.
That's when we get into the discussion about being there for your team and not worried about the opponent, because you're not going to get much better as far as the anticipation for this upcoming season for Memphis, with a really good chance to finally win a conference championship and to possibly be in the 12-team playoff. So certainly the excitement is there, the anticipation is there. What do you want to do with your entertainment dollars? Now, I wish the game atmosphere was a little better in the sense that, and I don't know what you can do contractually about showing highlights from other games. I don't know if that's even possible on your Jumbotron, but I would love to see more, if you could show highlights, updated scores from all the games around the nation. Some stadiums do it better than others. Again, I don't know what you're limited to do, but I would like to see that at a game. People like to see the scores from around the nation. If you go to a baseball game, I always love watching the other scores and what's going on with those games around the country.
In today's world, if I need to know the score of any game, it's right on my phone.
Yes, I know, but sometimes you have reception problems in a stadium. But to see a highlight on the Jumbotron during a timeout of the game, I would like to see that. I don't know if they can do that. But that's something that I certainly would. You want to try to find as many ways as you can to enhance the experience. And, of course, the renovations of the stadium is one way that they're doing it. Because when those luxury boxes are built and other amenities are built, people are going to be excited to go there and see that. Right now, again, it's a fine stadium the way it was before these renovations began to watch a game. But as far as the modern amenities and the concessions, you walk around the concourse, you feel like you're it's like a high school stadium. It's like my old Atlantic City High School. When I would go to games at Bader Field, it would be like, that's the concourse. That's the way it is. It's going to be different now. People are going to be excited about it. Anytime you throw in things that are new, it excites people. Now, how long that will be sustained, I don't know. But renovations that'll come to FedEx Forum, that'll excite people as well.
Well, I think I said it when they announced it, like I told Jeff Crane, the whole plaza thing they're doing, I think is absolutely perfect, because that is the way many people now, especially the younger people, that's what they want to watch. That's how they want to watch a game. They don't want a seat. They don't want to sit in a seat. They want to hang out with their friends in a big group.
Yes.
In an area. And the game is it's going on, and they're going to watch it a little bit, and then they're not going to pay attention for a while. But that's the way they want to do it. And I think what they're doing and taking that whole side and turning it into that plaza, obviously the big thing is you want to have the premium seating. You want to sell that because that's where you got to make your money. But that plaza, I think, is absolutely perfect for what they need at the University of Memphis.
It's like the golf tournament we talked about all last week and yesterday. There's only so many diehard golf fans that are watching with bated breath on every golf shot. Others are there to socialize. So they have all these now different areas to do so. Do so in luxury if you have the money. If not, there's other places for those who don't have the access to these special pavilions and things of that nature. They have added the things we talked about, like on the 14th, to make your viewing pleasure or to make your viewing thing more pleasurable, to be able to do things outside of just watching the game of golf. Because, again, probably 70% of those people there are not really into the golf as much as you and I are. They're into the whole socializing.
Reggie texted in on the Sissy's Log Cabin List. Says maybe if they drop some of the prices on hot dogs, burgers, parking, and beer, they can raise the price on admission and get butts in the seats. He says, just win, baby.
Yeah, I don't know what those prices are. I don't know what they charge for dogs and burgers and things like that.
That ain't cheap.
It's not cheap anywhere with the exception of Augusta at the Masters, where prices have not changed. Although, what was it that I was reading about? Was it?
But again, with that, I don't know how much control, because that is a lot of those are like vendors.
Vendors, right.
That are doing that. So you're not necessarily setting their prices.
Do you remember?
I don't know how much control you are say at all. Like the Grizzlies have Levy Restaurants that does all their. I don't know if they have any say in pricing.
Don't get me started. Levy sucks. The Grizzlies got to do a better job. When I went out there to Vegas and I was at the Cox Pavilion and Thomas and Mack, and they had all those options out there for food and things like that, even entertainment other than the games themselves. And that's been around forever, those arenas, especially the Thomas and Mack. Levy is terrible. Grizzlies need to do a better job with that stuff. But so does a lot of other arenas, in my opinion. You have to have more options, better options. You can't just be like a burger and fries at the same place all around and then one barbecue place. But did you see on social media on X, and I forget what venue it is, and it said, you can get all of this for $20. And it was hot dog, popcorn, soda, peanuts, slice of pizza. Like you feed the whole family. And I can't remember for the life of me what venue it is. But for the most part, they're going to get you at the concessions, except for at Augusta National.
We do have a winner in our Humdingers trivia. The question was among returning college football quarterbacks, who threw for the most yards last season. Now, there were a lot of people that thought maybe I was asking this question for a particular reason. And so they went with Seth Hennigan. And that is a great guess. However, he is second by less than 60 yards. His 3,883 yards last year is number 2 among returning quarterbacks in college football. Number 1 with 3,941 yards last year, so again, less than 60 more than what Hennigan threw for, that is Carson Beck of Georgia. So Carson Beck was the correct answer, and we do have one who beat the others with Carson Beck. So we will be notifying the winner, letting you know how you're going to get your $25 gift certificate to Humdingers. But yeah, Seth Hennigan, number 2 among returning quarterbacks with yardage last season.
I knew you wouldn't make it that easy for the folks out there. Our good buddy Chuck Galena texts in. He says, concessions are super cheap at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Now, I was there for the Super Bowl, but again, didn't have to pay for my concessions. I wonder if that's what it was. It was either maybe that or it's something else that, again, I can't put my finger on, but there's one venue that's cheap. It may be the only one outside of Augusta National. James Gaddis Jewelers, your family's jeweler, 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. If you're looking for a beautiful watch of all different types, they have all different styles, all different makes for you, even the Rolex watches, the custom-made jewelry that they have as well. Just so much variety at James Gaddis Jewelers. Plus beautiful gemstones of all types, bracelets and necklaces and earrings and pendants. They also have one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. So they're going to always add to the collection. I guarantee you go there on a Tuesday, you come back on a Friday, there's a lot of different stuff that they have in their display cases. That's what they do at James Gaddis Jewelers. They also have experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings. They are your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters. They got 2 repair experts to help you with your fine watches and jewelry. They will take care of that jewelry. You purchase it from James Gaddis Jewelers, they're going to take care of it through the lifetime of that jewelry, which will hopefully be forever. So you need a simple cleaning. Just bring it in. They'll take care of it for you. Layaway and financing is available. James Gaddis Jewelers. Go see James and the gang. Tell me you heard it here on Sports 56 Mornings. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com.
Doug texts in and says, last year at an SEC game, we watched a replay of a last-second game-winning play from another game. It was a great touch. I've remembered for a year.
Yes, that type of stuff enhances the viewing for the spectators. You want to give them other things other than just the game. But again, I don't know if there's any legalities as far as which games you can choose from. If you can choose from ESPN games, can you show them? I just don't know. But if that's something you can do, I would encourage them to do it. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-345-2789. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-345-2789. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-345-2789. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-345-2789. 800-345-2789 or biglou.com.
You know, it only takes one bad decision to change your life. And riding after drinking can be one of those. It can lead to impaired reflexes, poor judgment, and then disaster. Think about it. Even one drink affects your ability to ride. Alcohol can limit your reaction time and give you a false sense of confidence. You think it'll never happen to you, but it can. So, if you hit the bottle, don't roll the throttle. Brought to you by NHTSA.
Are you ready to make this the summer event rock and Ronnie? Because the place to buy is Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram out on the pike.
I'm ready, Randy. Check this out. A 2024 Jeep Compass Sport four-wheel drive, 27090 or $398 a month.
2024 Jeep Compass Sport 4x4, 27090 or $398 a month.
Or take your pick, a 2023 Dodge Challenger RT or a 2024 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Tracer, two-wheel drive, $38,990 or $579 a month.
Rock and Ronnie says drive past the rest and come to the Nasdaq. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram out on the pike. Or shop us anytime online at GossettMotorCars.net. If you want to be
75 months at 7.99. Ram and Challenger 5,000 down. Jeep 4,000 down. Challenger PH 574221. MSRP 52,315. Jeep RT 173869. MSRP 28,090. 0% for 36 months. Grand Cherokee and Wrangler price includes all rebates and incentives and excludes PF 695. All exclude tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights, open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Traffic still a little bit heavy coming down the interstate over here, especially for 40 westbound from Germantown Parkway all the way to Sycamore View Road. There's still some volume 240 at Walnut Grove and Poplar. It's busy but moving on 55 north, working your way up through South Haven. Still got a lot of volume coming up from DeSoto County towards Memphis on 55 going northbound. Havenly Showers, your curbless shower specialist. Check them out online, havenlyshowers.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. A couple of programming notes. Tomorrow, we'll mark the return of Jerry Palm, another season with JP, talking football and basketball with us, 8:25. And also tomorrow, we'll make our predictions for the University of Memphis Tigers football season. We'll do the SEC next Wednesday.
So the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, now they got a lot of different things you can choose from, but the menu for the ATL Fanfare, which has a number of sites throughout the stadium. A hot dog is $2. Nachos are $3. Pretzel $2. Popcorn $2.
Chuck was right.
Soda,
cheap.
Regular soda $2. Souvenir soda $4. Large domestic draft beer $8.50. Large premium draft beer $10.50.
All right. Well, you get up there with beer. But that's really good. That's really good for a family of four with the hot dogs and the popcorn and the soda.
Buffalo cauliflower wrap
Ugh.
is $8. They should pay you $8 to eat it.
Buffalo cauliflower wrap. No, thank you.
I don't know.
What is a?
Says the vegetarian.
That kind of piqued my interest.
What is a? Do you know what a hot dog is at FedEx Forum?
He doesn't.
I don't.
At Simmons Bank, Liberty State. I'm trying to think if I ever bought I know I've bought a hot dog at FedEx Forum before. But
If you're
I don't
getting
remember
if you're getting like the combo, do they sell the combo? If you're getting the hot dog, fries, and a soda, it's going to cost you somewhat close to $20, right? At FedEx Forum. If anybody knows, text in on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines 901-360-8255. I'm guessing hot dog, soda, fries, combo, if they even have a combo or you got to buy them separately, is closing in on $20. And the reason I think I know that is because they were having renovations to the dining room and they gave us a voucher to go get something. And I think that's what it was. I just gave them the $20 voucher. You're not going to get change from it. They're not going to give you any cash, but I think it was like 18, 19. Could be wrong. And it adds up if you have a big family.
They don't. They just tell you where the locations are. They just say the prices.
Again, there's no knock on the individuals, but I just look beyond Levy. Thomas and Mack, I'm telling you, like every 5 feet there was like, okay, here is a sushi place. Here is a Dairy Queen. Here is a wings place. Here is a hamburger place. Here is another thing. Here is, just left and right. This is Thomas and Mack. It's not even an NBA arena. It's like Summer League and UNLV. We don't have, we just don't have variety. That's all there is to it. Did you find it?
Yeah, they don't have on their website. They don't have prices. They just have the different locations,
yeah,
different
of course
places,
they don't have prices.
and what where they are located in the arena.
Somebody knows. They'll text in. All right, I wanted to get into a little baseball here, and we got some NFL news to get into as well this hour. Then we'll talk some golf with Mickey Barker at 9:05, and college football. We'll preview the upcoming season with Joe DeLeon at 9:25. So. Well, I just got a text on the hot dog price. Let's see. Somebody says it's only $5. That's not too bad. It's $5.
It's 2.5 times what it is at Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, but I thought it was like 8 or 9.
If you're poor, nobody in their right mind is paying $8 for a hot dog.
Well, I think you got the fry. I thought you got the fries with it, and then I don't know. The sodas are expensive. I don't know. Maybe I'm out of touch here.
You're paying $8 for a hot dog. You getting ripped off.
Somebody says it's like $8 for a drink, but you get free refills. $5 for a hot dog, that'd be $13. Fries, do they even have fries? They have fries, right? Mm-hmm. $4 or $5. So it's right around what I said. It's right around $18, I think it is. All right. Yesterday you brought up at the very end of the show, we were running out of time, we were talking about Shohei Ohtani. Shohei is on the precipice of going 40-40. He has 39 home runs, 37 stolen bases. They say he might get there this week. I think there's a good chance he might get there this week. He has an outside shot at 50-50. Only 5 players have reached 40-40 in a season. Can you name the 5 players?
Canseco.
Correct. He was the first in 1988. He was 42-40, 42 homers. Bonds was 1996. He was 42-40. Same thing.
Did Soriano get there?
He did. In 2006, he was 46 home runs. He was 41 stolen bases. There was one before Soriano and one after.
Man, I'm trying to think.
One was in the American League, one was in the National League. The one before Soriano was in the American League. The one after National League. And it was very recent.
I don't know.
Let's put it to you this way. This guy's probably not getting into the Hall of Fame. You already mentioned a guy like Barry Bonds.
A-Rod get there?
A-Rod. 42 home runs, 46 stolen bases with Seattle in 98. And then last year, Ronald Acuna Jr. with the Braves.
That's right, yeah.
41 home runs, 73 stolen bases. Now, I don't know this off the top of my head. Out of those 5, how many won the MVP? Because I'm circling back to what we talked about yesterday, and I said, you said there's a chance that Marcell Ozuna can win the Triple Crown and not win the MVP. I said, no, there's no way. He's winning the MVP, even if Ohtani obtains 40-40, which he will, and may threaten 50-50. But I'm wondering about these guys. Canseco didn't, did he?
What year did he do the 40-40? I think he did.
88.
Yeah, that he was MVP.
He was. Okay, Bonds, I think, was. 96?
I'm sure Bonds.
Maybe they all did it.
One of his many MVPs. Soriano did not, I'm sure.
Acuna didn't win it, did he?
Yes.
He won MVP last year?
Bonds, I'm sure that had to be one of his MVP years.
It had to have been.
What year?
96.
No, actually, there was not one of his MVP years. He went in 90, 92, 93, and 2001 through 2004.
Does it say who won it in 96? Again, the point being is 40-40 is an exclusive club. 5 members, and Ohtani will more than likely be a 6th member. That's it. Yet, there were seasons when the dudes did not win the MVP.
96 was Ken Caminiti in the National League.
Yeah, and he didn't win the Triple Crown. So you're talking about Marcell Ozuna? If he wins the Triple Crown, easily MVP. You don't think so?
Not if Shohei goes 50-50.
Maybe 50-50. Maybe. But I still think Triple Crown, Ozuna.
Because the thing is, because Shohei's ahead of him in WAR, like those things that. The funny thing is, like,
he's not even hitting 300. He's like around 298, I think.
Yeah, Ozuna's hit like 308. Like that, leading the National League in hitting is barely over 300.
Okay.
It's not. You don't have Bobby Witt Jr. to worry about.
Tony Gwynn's not out there hitting 370.
350 in the American League. Like the funny thing, because so Shohei could win it without playing defense, but Ozuna, many people will hurt his candidacy because he plays defense.
Yeah. Well,
because he's so bad. He is a negative WAR on defense, which hurts his WAR overall. But he, I actually saw a thing yesterday that said, and now he's back on the injured list again, but it said, could Ketel Marte win the MVP if Shohei Ohtani goes 50-50? They weren't even worried about Marcell Ozuna. They were talking more about Marte, who now it looks like he, after re-aggravating that ankle, probably could miss a decent amount of time. He's probably out of it, and he's right up there in the Triple Crown too. Like that's the thing. Like he's not far out of all of them in the Triple Crown. Although Ozuna leads 2 of the categories of the Triple Crown.
Well, they're not giving it to a guy who comes in 2nd or 3rd to the guy who wins the Triple Crown. The guy who wins the Triple Crown, if it happens, is winning it.
But the thing is, with Austin Riley now out,
right,
with the broken hand, which again you would think it was probably going to be broken when you get hit with a 97-mile-an-hour pitch in the hand. If the Braves, especially if the Braves miss the playoffs, he's not winning it, even if he wins a Triple Crown.
Oh, I don't know about that. But you're right about Riley. News came down yesterday. We talked about it on the show that more than likely it's got to be some sort of fracture. There's so many little bones in your hand. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. Probably done for the season. I don't know what the expectations are for the Braves. They've just been riddled with injury from day one. And you know me, as a Phillies fan, I feel for those Braves fans out there. I mean, it wasn't enough that we beat you the last couple of playoffs, but now you got to suffer through an injury-plagued year. Austin Riley, though, local, DeSoto Central product, Mississippi State. He never played. Did he end up playing at Mississippi State?
No.
No, but he was going to play there. Austin Riley out 6 to 8 weeks with the fracture. But again, Marcell Ozuna, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if he ends up winning the Triple Crown and Shohei gets the 50-50, which is still going to be tough to obtain. 40-40 is in the bag. No question about it for him.
Well, the thing is, if Shohei goes 50-50, chances are Marcell Ozuna's not winning the home runs.
Right. And we'll see how many people want to pitch to him. You know, we talked about that with Aaron Judge, pitching around Judge. Well, it's tough when you got Soto crushing the ball, and if Stanton's healthy, right? There's also guys all around the Dodgers lineup too, which helps these guys. When you have Betts, when you have Freeman, you have others who could mash the ball for the Dodgers. It helps out Shohei Ohtani.
Well, you don't want to walk Shohei because he'll steal the base.
In the scoring position.
And then you're dealing with these other guys.
Right.
But Ozuna now, with Riley out of the lineup, it hurts him. Now it's basically Ozuna and Matt Olson with no Acuna, no Riley, like these guys that keep going down.
With all the power, where does Shohei bat in the lineup?
Lead off.
So he is leading off. I was going to say.
Usually I think he does. I think even with Betts back, I think he's batting lead.
Yeah, I was going to say it doesn't make sense not to have him lead. I would also, if I was the Yankees, have Aaron Judge lead off. Because if you pitch around him, he's on first base. You got a base runner right off the bat. And you have other guys in that lineup that can drive in runs too. I think it makes sense to have Judge, Shohei Ohtani, guys like that, maybe Bryce Harper as the leadoff hitter.
Moving can be stressful, but when you get the right people to do that for you, to help you with that, well, it takes a lot of that stress out of it. And the only phone call you need to make, that's for Black Tie Moving at 901-316-6196. Or you can just go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. Talk to the folks from Black Tie. Come up with a plan. They'll work with you to come up with that plan for your move, whether it be, heck, right down the street or across country, wherever you're headed. They're going to come up with a plan that's just right for you, what you need from them, and also fits your budget as well. And they do give you a no obligation quote up front, so you know exactly what it's going to cost. They're going to take care of your stuff, make sure it gets where it's going without any issues, without any problems. If you do have any questions that come up during the move, they're there to answer them. They got a moving concierge available to you for you to get a hold of and to get those questions answered immediately from Black Tie Moving. Again, 901-316-6196 or blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to talk to the experts, the professionals at Black Tie Moving.
Real quick, got a text from one of our loyal listeners, Grant, makes a really good point. He says Atlanta owns their own food concessions. They don't use a third party. FedEx Forum has way too many people trying to get a slice of the pie. That and a different way of thinking, low prices equals more volume over price margin. That and fan happiness. Very good point from Grant. All right, when we come back, interesting comments that Tua Tagovailoa made on the Dan Le Batard show and the reaction to it from around the league when it is directed toward a former coach who's now a coach on the Minnesota Vikings staff. How Minnesota's head coach, Kevin O'Connell, came to the rescue of Brian Flores. We'll talk about that and some other NFL news when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
All 650 acquisition fee, $20,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte RE794-066, MSRP 21820, Telluride RG 543-666, MSRP 39835, EV9 R602 29603, MSRP 61035. Lease terms include all rebates and incentives and a PF 695, includes tax, title, license, registration, and fees. Must finance through Hyundai with approved credit, valid through 8/31/24. Dealer stock only.
Hey, yo, Jeff Allen, what's up over there at Gossett Kia, South Mount Moriah?
I know what's down, Randy. Prices at Gossett Kia, Mount Moriah. You looking to save? 41 MPG Highway in a 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, $37.99 due at signing. I've got a 2024 Kia Telluride S front-wheel drive, $379 per month, $39.99 due at signing. And Randy, talk about saving big bucks. 304 EPA estimate range for $389 a month in a 2024 Kia EV9 Lite, $49.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease.
Plus the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Granger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call, hit Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The Mitsubishi Final Days of Summer sales event is going strong at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. So come get bang for your buck with 420 total range and 64 combined MPGE in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. We Gossett 34,770 or $299.98 a month. And check out 2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. We Gossett at $27,245 or $349 a month. Plus, you'll never go wrong with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get to Gossett Mitsubishi today at 1870 Covington Pike and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com. That's Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
RZO 35,297, MSRP 47,470, 36-month, 30,000-mile lease, 44.53 due at signing, 1,095 acquisition fee, 25 cents per mile excess wear and tear. Eclipse RZO 65,450, MSRP 28,745, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 8:50 the time. Friend of the show, Dan Quinn, the head coach of the Washington Commanders, did announce yesterday that Jaden Daniels has officially been named the Commanders' starting quarterback, the rookie from LSU. Also, Justin Herbert was back at practice for the Chargers, which I'm sure puts a smile on Jim Harbaugh's face. In other NFL news, Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, was on the Dan Lebitard show. And he was talking about his former head coach, Brian Flores, who was replaced by Mike McDaniel, and the difference between the two. This is the quote from Tagovailoa. To put it in simplest terms, if you woke up every morning and I told you that you suck at what you did, that you don't belong doing what you do, that you shouldn't be here, that this guy should be here, that you haven't earned this right, and then you have somebody else come in and tell you, dude, you are the best fit for this, he said during this interview, how would it make you feel listening to one or the other? You see what I'm saying? And then you hear it no matter what it is, the good or the bad, you hear it more and more. You start to believe that. I don't care who you are. You could be the president of the United States. You have a terrible person telling you things that you don't want to hear or probably shouldn't be hearing. You're going to start believing that about yourself. And so that's what sort of ended up happening. It's basically been what 2 years of training that out of not just me, but a couple of guys as well, have been here my rookie year all the way until now. In other words, he says it's not just him. A few other of the players that came in with him felt the same way about Brian Flores. He's talking about Brian Flores, who is now a coach with the Minnesota Vikings. He's not the head coach. He's now the defensive coordinator. This is Kevin O'Connell, the Vikings head coach, in response to all this. I don't particularly have a comment on something that took place with another team, or I don't like to comment on comments of other players on other teams. But I can just tell you, I know that the players that Flo works with, that's the nickname for Brian Flores, he's got great relationships here. He really has. I know that the reporters have heard a lot of them talk about how much they enjoy playing for him, the players, and how much I enjoy working with him every day. And that's all I can really comment on. And I just like to leave it at that. So you have two dishing on Brian Flores. And the whole bigger story is about how a coach and their approach may be different, but also the player's response to that approach may be different. So what worked for somebody else didn't work for Tua with Flores. Flores has a different style. I just watched, I don't know for those out there who watch The Bear. Do you watch The Bear?
No.
Okay, it's on Hulu. It's a really good television series about a cook in Chicago. And they keep showing flashbacks to his time when he was learning at this big prestigious place, and the guy kept belittling him. The one chef kept belittling him. And then later in the season, he's pissed, and he finally confronts the guy. He sees the guy, hadn't seen him for years, and he confronts him, and he has a tear in his eye. He's like, "Why did you do that? Why did you call me this? It's taken me a long time to get over it and all that." He said, "Look at you now. Look where you are." Like basically taking the credit that I made you who you are because of that approach. Well, Tua is basically saying that I was 2 years I couldn't play up to my ability because of what he did. And now with McDaniel, who treats me differently, opens his arm, welcoming, then I'm playing much better. Well, I think that's unfair to Flores because all players are differently. Now, as a coach, you got to figure out which players you can coddle and which players you don't have to. But to lump basically Brian Flores as a bad dude is not fair. So I don't know, Tua opening his mouth at this point, I don't understand what he got out of it. Maybe he just got caught up in the whole flow of that show. But very interesting to say the least about what he had to say about Brian Flores.
Yeah, and I think it probably the fact that Brian Flores is a defensive coach versus McDaniel, who's an offensive coach, in dealing with a quarterback, they're probably going to be different.
Good point.
So I mean, coaches are different. I would think that if you're Brian Flores in that situation, you might realize that the way you're dealing with him is not bringing the best out of him.
Right.
And, I mean, in the end, that's what you have to do as a head coach. You got to figure out the way to bring the best out of your players. But that may be his way of motivating. And
it's probably worked at times too with
players. And he just doesn't, again, defensive coach dealing with quarterbacks, it's not the same. So, an offensive coach like McDaniel's just going to have a different relationship with a quarterback than probably a head coach with a defensive background is. So, it is what it is, and that's fine. If Tua didn't like it, okay, that's great. I mean, and now he's got a coach that he does like, and it's working well for him. So. And Brian Flores has a defensive coordinator job, and he's doing it. So good on him.
Well, the only problem is whether or not, and I know Brian Flores had the whole lawsuit and everything with Ross and the owner of the Dolphins, but will Brian Flores, because of maybe these comments and some people taking him to heart that he is like this with all his players and doesn't bring out the best in these players' abilities, does it affect whether or not he gets another opportunity as a head coach? Tua's fine. Tua's making bank right now, and he has the coach that he wants and that he needs. But will Flores be damaged by those comments? That's the bigger question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that Brian Flores was going to get another head coaching opportunity anyway.
Maybe not. Maybe not. But now I think it's not going to happen at all. Positively, end of story, etched in stone. I don't think that will happen. This does not help.
It does not help. That is for sure. Folks, you need a tough, reliable tractor to tackle those tough chores. Go see the folks at Mid-South Ag Equipment and check out the Case IH Farm All series of tractors that they carry there at Mid-South Ag Equipment. That's just one of the lines that they carry. Of course, they have bush hog equipment and much, much more. They've got new equipment. They've got pre-owned equipment. They'll service current equipment for you as well to get you back out there as quickly as possible. That's what they do at Mid-South Ag Equipment. Easy to find just south of Collierville on Goodman Road. If you take I-269 to the Goodman Road exit, they're just a half mile west, so very easy to find them. And you can also check them out online at midsouthag.com, where you can see inventory, you can check out special offers, special deals, special things they've got going on, and see exactly what they have at Mid-South Ag Equipment. Again, midsouthag.com, and just south of Collierville on Goodman Road.
It'll be a busy final hour for us today here on Sports 56 Mornings. We'll open up talking some golf with Mickey Barker, then Joe DeLeon on college football. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Family Leisure is having the world's biggest spa set, and it's happening right now. You can save thousands on in-stock hot tubs that are ready to be delivered. Family Leisure has spas that start at just $28.99. You know those cold plunges? You can get one for yourself starting at $39.99. Or how about swim spas? They start at $17,499. Plus, Family Leisure has set up special financing just for this event. Have you been sitting on the fence about an above-ground pool? Get off that fence and get to Family Leisure to take advantage of huge discounts on all their in-stock above-ground pools. And if you need some patio furniture, it's all priced to move out now. It's not too late to have some summer fun, courtesy of Family Leisure. But you better hurry up. The world's biggest spa sale might go on forever. Family Leisure. Witten Road at I-40. Family and fun come together.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall full bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. And in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Is your vehicle stopping like it should? Does it squeal or grind when you brake? Don't miss out on summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Belting. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Clearing up a couple of earlier accidents out here. There's still some volume trying to get down the interstate over here on 40 westbound from Germantown Parkway to Sycamore View Road. It's not bad, actually, in that road construction, at least at the moment, on Sam Cooper right there off the interstate. Now, throughout the day, they could be over there doing some work. Traffic's still a bit busy over here, but hey, it's moving 240 east and west here up by Mill Branch. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry specializes in bridal ring purchases, and they have since 1984. Shop local, save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. And once again, Barbara Gaston and Eli Support.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:01 the time. Final hour for us today here on this Tuesday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, it's where family and fun come together. Their world's biggest spa sale going on right now at 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 75. It'll get up to 85 today under plenty of sunshine. Then tonight your low is 62 with some clouds rolling in, but precipitation chances today and the rest of the week into next week, not really high. So more than likely we won't see much weather, although you never know when there could be a pop-up shower. Third hour of the program is brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. Their showroom is open now in Hernando, 2356 Goodman Road. I should say Horn Lake. They were in Hernando. They have moved to Horn Lake, and their new warehouse and showroom is open. So go see Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins there. Or also, they have stores in Cleveland, Mississippi, and in Little Rock, Arkansas. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, everything from the SPC and WPC vinyls, which are the scratch-resistant and waterproof top of the line, plus ceramic and porcelain tiles, Hardwoods by Portercraft, carpeting from Southern Luxury Carpet, backsplashes for your kitchens and bathrooms, and so much more. Commercial and residential, so homeowners and contractors, do yourself a favor. Look, they sell it wholesale. They skip the middleman, going to save you lots of money. Also, they'll come to you and give you a free estimate, and they're talking about doing a 2-week turnaround. So you will have your job done in 2 weeks if you go with Jenkins Floors and More. That's their promise to you. Financing is available. Give them a call at 662-469-9350 or go see them. They're open Monday through Saturday. Again, 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. It's Jenkins Floors and More. Time now to talk some golf with Mickey Barker. He is Mickey Barker, not only the golf administrator for the city of Memphis, but a Hall of Fame golfer from Lipscomb University and an all-around great guy. You can follow him on Twitter at MickeyBarker1. We're winding down, Mickey. Next week's our last week.
Good morning, Greg. Yes, I was just thinking about that we're past the FedEx. Summer's pretty much over. School's back in session. High school championship this week. It's gone by really fast.
But it doesn't mean that golf stops, because fall golf is the best golf of the year, in my opinion.
Absolutely. The courses are in the best shape they're going to be all year. The weather is perfect. We're getting through most of this humidity. This is an exceptional week this week, and should be winding down the extreme heat, hopefully.
When you get, like we have the heat last week, we know Thursday, Friday especially. The weekend was a little bit better, but it was hot. It was hot last week. Do you see any difference as far as play on your courses?
We do a little bit, especially that 11 to 2 o'clock time frame. That is when typically it slows down the most when the heat is on. When you hit 95 and above with humidity, that part of the day starts to slow down a little bit. The afternoons still are busy. It's still just as hot, but seems like those folks that slip out at noon kind of wait.
What about the rain or lack thereof?
We could use some rain, absolutely. This time of year, we could go now until November and not get a whole lot of rain. Mm-hmm. So we're relying on our irrigation systems, and we're really using them hard right now.
How much when it is exceptionally hot like that, do you have to water a lot more? How does that affect it?
We do. Normally all of our watering is at night. We try to get especially early in the morning before daylight. We want the leaves to dry off as quickly as possible once the sun comes up. But given the extreme heat and now this week the lack of humidity, we'll have to do some watering during the day. Golfers, unfortunately, they'll have to dodge a few sprinkler heads out on the course, but just in order to maintain the turf and not stress it too bad, we'll have to put some water down.
Before we get your thoughts on the FedEx St. Jude Championship, obviously a lot of things going on. Has been all summer long, will continue. You got the high school championship at Fox Meadows. You have the Tennessee State Senior Amateur Championship at Memphis Country Club. Lots going on still in the city of Memphis when it comes to golf.
A lot of golf going on here. Yeah, our tournament season, you would think would be winding down, but we have more events now until the end of October than we've had throughout the summer. So we've got like you said, the high school championship on Friday, the 23rd, and we've got the Fox Meadows Championship the day after on the 24th.
That's right.
And then at the end of September, we've got what has now become our biggest event as far as number of people is our Memphis Amateur Senior Championship, which will be at Fox Meadows and Pine Hill, which is always well received.
And then you've still got an Audubon Championship as well.
We do, yeah. That one's on September 7th. We feel like a lot of people have circled that one. Looking forward to our first stroke play championship there at Audubon, and we'll see how that turns out.
Is there a max number of entrants for all these course championships?
There are. We try to limit it to about 100 for this individual championship. Some, like Galloway, will go over a little bit, but around 100. We typically get somewhere in the 72 to 85 range, somewhere in there.
And the tee times for Audubon, is it still only online? How's that working?
It is. We're still completely online for all your tee times at Audubon. Those are prepaid. So go to MemphisPublicLinks.com, click on Audubon, and it's very simple to make your tee time.
I would assume still fast and furious with folks getting out to play Audubon?
We are. It's calming down just a little bit. We over the weekend with the FedEx going on and with the extreme heat, we were doing about 215 a day over the weekend, which is a few less than what we'd been averaging. We're still over 4,000 rounds for the month, which is unbelievable.
It's fantastic. It's a lot of work for everybody, but that's fantastic that folks are getting out there. Obviously, they've heard about the hoopla leading up to Audubon. They've missed Audubon, and now they have their opportunity to play there. Well, TPC Southwind, of course, was the course of significance this past week with the FedEx St. Jude Championship. I know you got out there on Friday, and I'm sure you watched the conclusion on Sunday. Hideki was running away with it. Made it really interesting, and I don't know if it was, here's a guy who's won the Masters before, the Players. He's pretty darn cool, calm, and collected, but something got him rattled. It may have been, again, when they approached him about what they thought could have been a penalty, ended up not being. But he got rattled, and then he figured it out, Mickey. And to birdie 17 and 18 after parring 16, pretty amazing. I don't know if that's ever happened in history, and he wins here in Memphis.
Yeah, usually Hideki, when he's got a lead like that late on the back nine, he usually just puts it away. It's usually just a very ho-hum ending. Like you said, I don't know whether it was the rules official coming over and asking him the question. They had already determined that they felt like it was not a penalty, but they had to get the answer from him saying, no, it was not in my line. I knew what I was doing. I stepped on it because it was 3 feet out of my line. For some of us, 3 feet out of your line might still be in our line, but
depending on how we hit it, right?
But for one of the best players in the world, 3 feet off his line is not even close.
It's also interesting to be able to recover the way he did without his normal caddy, because your normal caddy might be able to see even on 15 when things were going bad, let's slow everything down. Kind of knows how to get you back on track. This caddy doesn't know that. He's just out there I've played out there. I've been out there with him before, but I've never caddied for him. And for him so basically this is on Hideki to kind of, I got to get this figured out myself.
Right. His caddy has been caddying for him for a long time, and unfortunately with the robbery and all that wasn't able to be there. But having that person that you're so comfortable with saying, okay, we got this. After the bogey on 12, you would have thought that's when he would have calmed him down, or giving him a swing thought that got that right hand, because he blocked it right on 13, and then the spot where you can't hit it on 14, you got to hit it left there, and he went ahead and hit that flare out to the right into the water. So.
What are your holes of choice when you go out for the tournament to watch?
I enjoy it. For whatever reason, I end up sitting behind number 9 a lot because you can step over and watch the groups tee off 1, step back, and you can see where they're hitting their second shot on 9. So that typically that's where I stay, is 9 and number 1. Obviously, 14 is a fantastic place. And that way, if you're watching 14, you can step back across and watch 16 as well. So.
It's pretty cool. I was trying to get around with a buddy 10. He thought for some reason we still cut through you can't anymore. But anyway, we got stuck on the hill. There's a hill, but it overlooks further down 10 green, but you could see clearly 11 green. And it was, other than we were standing, it was kind of cool to see that, because that's when Dunlap hit it way right and had to make that unbelievable shot. And then we watched the group in front, which was Scheffler's, playing into the 11th green. That's a pretty cool area, too.
That's a really nice area. And obviously where they put all the corporate chalets, they've determined those are great spots to watch golf from. But, yeah, Nick Dunlap he was pulling a few Tiger shots there, hitting it as far off the planet as he could and still making par. It's pretty amazing.
I have never seen anybody come close to hitting it right of the water on 12 out there. I mean, I've just that is mind-boggling to me for one of those guys could be that far offline.
I have hit it in the middle of that lake plenty of times.
Oh yes, I've done that.
But I've never come close to hitting it right of the green or right of the water. That I was listening on the radio at the time, and the reporter goes, "This is dry. This is right of the water. It's dry." It was just amazing that he hit it that far and then made par.
Yeah, when they showed the little tracker thing, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" That's a professional golfer hitting that golf shot. Like, that's amazing to me that you could have that.
Well, speaking of good golfers who make good shots, our good buddy Ed McDougal joining us now on Sports 56 Mornings. Of course, the former White Station High School golf coach and longtime competitor on the links, still owns the Pub Links /Mac, lowest round recorded ever at 60 at Galloway. And right now he's getting ready to compete in the Tennessee State Senior Amateur at Memphis Country Club. Ed, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, gentlemen. Nice to be on.
So how are you gearing up for your challenge the next few days?
Practicing a lot of flop shots around greens with those Donald Ross push-up greens Memphis has, and practicing a lot of lag putting because those greens are vicious out there today.
Where would you, if you were ranking the toughest courses in Memphis, because you've played them all, I'm sure, everything else. I mean, how would you rank them as far as the toughest courses?
Well, Memphis and Chickasaw Country Club are both very penal because they're so tight.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You do not have to be off by much at all, and all of a sudden you're in a bad spot. My favorite nine holes out here is Colonial's South Back 9. I just think that is the absolute best. But when they get the greens right, Spring Creek's really tough out there. And, of course, a few years ago when they switched Southwind over from Bent to Bermuda, it got a lot harder. But those guys are still shooting some low numbers.
Ed, did you get to play a practice round at Memphis Country Club before today's round?
Yes, yesterday I did. We played yesterday was the official practice round, and those greens are rolling U.S. Open speeds right now. They are rolling 13 plus.
Oh my gosh, 13 plus?
Yeah, I played out there a week ago Friday, and it was the hardest golf course I've played in a long time. Between the rough being up, they had the fairway drawn in a little bit because of the Rush Cup. They were having a member event, and the greens were, like Ed said, they were 13 at least on the stimp meter. It was tough. I shot 75 and felt like I didn't play that bad.
I'd take 75 in a heartbeat.
It's going to be tough. But, you've got so many good players. The one thing about senior golf is you've pretty much eliminated the bangers who are out there moving it way over 300 yards. But what you also have is a lot of experienced tournament golfers who know how to get a ball around the golf course.
Ed, tell us about your thoughts of what they did to Audubon.
Oh, I absolutely love it. I couldn't wait for it to open. I've already played it 6 or 7 times, and I got to take my son was in town this past weekend, and I got to take him out there for the first time because he grew up playing Audubon, playing junior golf there, playing high school golf, and I was so excited to show him the new course. It is fantastic. The greens are running firm, and they're running, between 10 and 11 or more, depending on which green you're landing on and the downhill or not. But the one thing that's so fair out there is no matter how firm the greens are or how far away you are, you can run a ball up onto the green. So it's got some British Open type feel to it because if you can control it, you can hit it no matter what club. You can run it up onto the green. Now, some pins might be tucked behind bunkers. There's a lot of 3-putts coming, but it's very fair. But it is a tough test.
For you, as somebody who's been playing, these city golf courses for many years and seen probably the evolution of a lot of these, just overall with what they've done within the city to these golf courses, I mean, you got to love it again because you've been doing it for years and see how much better these courses are getting all around the city.
Yes, just under Mickey and with the new pros, it's getting fantastic. Beginning with the Galloway, right around 2000, before they redid Galloway, and of course we still had metal spikes at the time. Yeah. You could walk on those greens and you could hear your spikes going into those greens. They were so grainy. And now with the redo of Galloway, and then they redid Fox's greens and Fox greens, the last day of the MAC at Fox Meadows, those were the best greens I have ever played on at Fox Meadows in the more than 50 years I've been playing golf here in Memphis. The greens the last day of the MAC were perfect, absolutely tour quality perfect. And then with Audubon and Pine Hill, of course, the new layout at Pine Hill is good, and the clubhouse is gorgeous, and the overlooking of 9 and 18 green and the water. And one of these days I'm going to figure out how to play number 9. I keep putting it in the water or knocking it over the green. And as good as, and the layup, when you lay up on number 9 short, it's not the easiest layup when you're laying up short of the water. So I got to figure that one out. Almost every course, you've got one hole that gives you trouble.
Yep.
And I fight number 9 for some reason.
Yeah, and it happens every time you play it. It's just amazing how that happens. Ed McDougal is joining us. Mickey Barker, of course. All right, so since Mickey's right here, Ed, I'm going to give you the title of Golf Czar, City of Memphis, for this next few minutes. You can suggest to Mickey one thing that maybe they should look at for the future at any course or overall in general. What would be something that you would suggest?
Wow, that's kind of putting me on the spot.
It is.
With everything they have done. You didn't give me any warning on that one.
Everything is positive, but maybe there is something, maybe a particular course, particular hole, whatever it may be. You can make it happen through Mickey.
Through Mickey, huh?
Through Mickey. What's that, osmosis or whatever?
I was listening a little while ago to Mickey talking about all of our tournament golf that's still going on, and this isn't something for him to do because it's actually being done this year with Austin Chin helping run it. It hadn't been promoted, but we're going to have something called the Mini Mac, which for the two best 9-hole courses, Overton and Whitehaven, we're going to have a tournament at those two courses back-to-back days. So you play 9 holes at Overton on a Saturday and then 9 holes at Whitehaven on a Sunday. And if people learn about Whitehaven who haven't been out there, it is so good. That 9 holes is a good 9 holes, a full driving range, and a wonderful short game area out there where you can hit 80, 90-yard wedges. So that's kind of what I wanted to promote, are those two. And of course, Overton's getting a lot of publicity, but Whitehaven doesn't. And Whitehaven is great to go out there and play.
I think that will be a lot of fun. The Mini Mac, we're calling it, the tournament where we're going to play the Whitehaven and Overton. Both golf courses, as Ed said, are great. They're a lot of fun to play. Whitehaven is just a hidden gem down there. Almost on the state line to Mississippi, and we're getting a lot more business there. One of the reasons we got a lot of the business from North Creek once it closed.
Right.
It's one of the only golf options right in that area, and the golf course is great. The new design that opened in, now it's almost 20 years ago. It was 2005. It was just a great 9 holes designed by Mark Messier, who did Galloway and Pine Hill. So it's a lot of fun. We feel like this little 9 hole each day tournament will be good. It'll be well received. It's not going to strain anybody getting around.
Right.
So it should be a lot of fun. And then they get to tackle the King Collins greens at Overton, and we should have some real interesting.
I was going to say, you could do some fun placements over there.
Absolutely.
What's fabulous is the variety we have with city courses. Final thing for you, Ed. The 60 that you shot at Galloway, what do you remember most? First of all, what year was it? And then what do you remember most about that other than the great score?
It was 2008, so I had finally won the Pub Links once, the first time in 2004 after 5 runner-ups and 22 top 5s. I had never won it.
Jeez.
So, I mean, but the second time, in 2008 when I won it, it was obviously coming from so far behind, and it was, I just realistically, I had a couple of up and downs for par that just saved my round. So that was really cool, and the fact that I made quite a few birdies coming down the stretch. I shot 30 on both sides, but one on number 9 when I made eagle on number 9, and it also shows now how much shorter I'm hitting it. Now I try, if I can hit a really good drive, I can almost reach that cart path that cuts across the fairway out there. Well, in 2008, I landed on that cart path on the fly. And so I hit driver sand wedge into that par 5 when I made eagle.
Jeez.
Now it's driver, and I'm hoping to have a hybrid in my hand into that green.
Hey, that was 16 years ago, Ed. We all age, my friend. We all age. Hey, listen, best of luck at the Tennessee State Senior Amateur. We're pulling for you. Always appreciate talking to you.
Yes, thank you. And just in case anybody's listening, you can come out and watch great golf. There's quite a few really good local players that are playing out there today for the next 3 days. So if anybody wants to come out and watch really hard, tight golf and played by some old codgers who still get it around, be fun to come see.
What do you mean if anybody's listening? Everybody's listening. Thank you, Ed. Hit him well.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
He's a good ambassador, isn't he?
He is. He's a great friend to the city courses. He's been around for a long, long time, and he actually does some volunteer work. He does a lot of our course marking for hazards and out of bounds and ground line repair and things like that at our different courses. So he's a good friend of the city golf, and we're thankful to have him around.
Well, you are as well. Mickey Barker, the golf administrator for the city of Memphis, the Hall of Fame golfer from Lipscomb University. You can follow him on Twitter at Mickey Barker1. We'll do it again for a final time this season next week.
Sounds great.
Thank you, Mickey. Folks, let me tell you about All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. No matter what new Chevy or pre-owned car you're looking for, they have it for you. And if they don't, they'll get it for you. All-Star Chevy's end of summer sale going on right now. Pick out a couple to test drive today. If you can't find it there, again, you can't find it anywhere. I'm looking at 20 or 30 new Silverados. They're marked down as much as 12%. That's going to save you thousands. Every Tahoe you could want for road trips and tailgating, they have them. Law enforcement, all first responders, healthcare, teachers, military, college students, and graduates. You get an extra $500 bonus when you purchase a vehicle from All-Star Chevrolet. They have all the pre-owned you need, from the trucks like the Ram trucks, the Silverados, the Broncos, the 4Runners, to Aldis and Hyundais and Palisades, even a sweet Corvette Stingray. Best week to get the most money right now on any vehicle you want to sell. You bring it to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch, get a big check today. So let's go. Don't miss out on All-Star Chevy's end of summer sale. It's going on right now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet and online at allstarautogroup.com. That's where you can check out all the great vehicles. All-Star Chevrolet of Olive Branch. When we come back, we're talking college football with Joe DeLeon. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
There are many real estate companies out there, but then there's Banyan Tree Realtors on the Tigerville Town Square. There are hands-on, family-owned boutique real estate companies whose agents have been offering exceptional attention to their clients for over 40 years. In an ever-changing world, Banyan Tree continues to maintain a small-town personal charm while providing a worldwide connection through its internet marketing presence. Personal service will never go out of style at Banyan Tree Realtors. Their agents are people you can trust, offering service you deserve. From residential homes to commercial properties, farmland, land lots, and historical houses, Banyan Tree has the expertise you can rely on. So if you're downsizing, upsizing, moving in, or moving on, give Banyan Tree Realtors a call today. Craig Smith and Mary Jean Smith and their agents are ready to serve you. Call today at 901-620-8920 or 901-359-2520.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town. Open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garden, the creators, SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Come up on 6 pool tables. This year in town, pool studio hits you some good bar talk. Chicken tenders, daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 10 to 6 p.m. on Reagan District 25 Getaway Sports Bar, 2632 Winchester. Are you ready to make this the summer event rock and Ronnie? Because the place to buy is Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram out on the pike.
I'm ready, Randy. Check this out. A 2024 Jeep Compass Sport four-wheel drive, 27090 or $398 a month.
2024 Jeep Compass Sport 4x4, 27090 or $398 a month.
Or take your pick, a 2023 Dodge Challenger RT or a 2024 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Tracer two-wheel drive, $38,990 or $579 a month.
Rock and Ronnie says drive past the rest and come to the NASDAQ Gossett
sportstime.net. Months at 7.99. Ram and Challenger 5,000 down. Jeep 4,000 down. Challenger PH 574221. MSRP 52315. Jeep RT 173869. MSRP 28,090. 0% for 36 months. Grand Cherokee and Wrangler price includes all rebates and incentives and excludes PF 695. All exclude tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details.
Everyone loves home improvement. South Haven Supply and Warehouse 51 makes it easy. A real hardware store run by 3 generations of a real hardware family where you can get it on. Whether it's repairs, remodeling, or new building, kitchens, bathrooms, tiles, tubs, vanities, sinks, mirrors, lighting, furniture, even door hardware. All the latest designs as well as timeless classics. And if outdoor fun is on your mind, they have the big green egg and accessories. South Haven Supply and Warehouse 51. 8560 Highway 51. Easy home improvement. If you're looking to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees, then Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis, Arkansas is the place for you. At Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis, you can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and is now available to everyone. A membership is $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar, all less than 15 minutes from downtown and midtown Memphis. Meadowbrook Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on and Cleveland clubs. If golf isn't for you, try the social membership for only $250 a month. And there's 2 levels of all-inclusive junior memberships, 20 to 29 for $200 a month and 30 to 34 for $250 a month. Call for your tee time today at Meadowbrook Country Club, 870-394-4186. Now semi-private Tuesday through Sunday. Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis, 870-394-4186.
Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour brought to you by James Floors and More. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:30 the time. Joe DeLeon joins us here in just a second. One of our other great sponsors, Shoot 360 Memphis, from preps to pros. This is just a cool place. You want to get your game on, you want to become a better shooter, a better passer, a better all-around basketball player, Shoot 360 Memphis is the place for you. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification, provides instant objective feedback with hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. Great coaches, including former Grizzly coach Scott Adebato and others that can help you with your game. They now have a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-sized courts, 3 high school-sized courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. That's located in Cordova. They also have the old standby in Collierville, and memberships are now on a monthly basis, and you can become a member at both locations. So as I always say, do yourself a favor, check it out for a month, sign up for a month. If you like it, and I think you will, you'll sign up for longer because you want to be a part of that. If not, no harm, no foul. You did it for 1 month, hopefully enjoyed yourself, and you move on from there. But again, you want to become a better shooter. I can guarantee you that with their emphasis on arc and depth and shooting accuracy, you will become a more improved shooter, and that means a better overall, all-around basketball player. Shoot 360 Memphis, now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today. Set up a tour at 901-779-3176 or visit them in Collierville or in Cordova. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis. Well, the college football season is here. We're excited. I know Joe DeLeon is excited as well. He is the college football and NFL draft analyst and co-host of the Ruffino and Joe Show on the Believe Network. You can follow him on Twitter at Joe DeLeon, who joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. I know you're excited, Joe. Week 0, it's still a weird name, but it's happening this week.
Yeah, excited is an understatement. I'm just glad that we finally have some football. I feel like I've been saying that the entire past 4 months. Every time I do a radio spot, it's like, hey, we need some football. We need some football this weekend. And it feels very refreshing that I can actually say that with legitimacy that the games are back.
Yeah, it drags along sometimes, or at times, not always, but sometimes during the summer, you get those weeks where there's just nothing going on, nothing of substance, and we're counting down how, there's so many people there, 60, they have a number representing a player, 60 days left to the start of the season. Here's 59, here's 58. Well, it's finally here, and of course, this year, it's going to be different than any other year we've had. It's not like the 4-team playoff has been around for decades. But now going to a 12-team playoff, more teams in the mix, more fan bases excited about being in the mix. I don't think there's going to be anything like what we're going to see this year.
Yeah, I think to that point that you just made, that there's going to be more fan bases that are interested and that are going to be paying close attention until the very end of November. Not that the previous format was non-competitive, but it was a lot of times the same 8 or so teams that were in that conversation, and that number always very quickly dwindled down to maybe 6 in the final weeks that had a realistic shot of playing in. But now I think that there is an opportunity for all of the top 25 teams for most of the year to be in the playoff picture, for us to have debates on who belongs as the 12th seed, who belongs as the 11th seed. Those conversations, I think, sparks and improves just the general interest for fans. And then us in the media, it's just more entertaining games to watch. I also think the other part of this, I know that conference realignment has, in some ways, negatively reshaped the sport and has really hurt conferences like the Pac-12. It really thinks that conference is now done and gone. But the fact that now I feel like it's one of the few times in college football history that we have weekly occurrences of big games. I've been looking ahead at some of these weeks, and there's just not many weeks that you look at and say, well, there's some duds this week. There's not really any big matchups. It feels like almost every single week we have a battle that is going to have huge implications on the playoff picture and the rest of the season.
Well, the one team here in week 0 that certainly is that a lot of people will have the eye on, and it's clearly the best matchup, I guess, or best game would be the Florida State Seminoles taking on Georgia Tech. Florida State's got to replace a lot of talent that is now in NFL camps. Do you expect them to come out and roll? Is there some growing pains early with a lot of new guys? What do you expect out of Florida State right out of the gate?
Yeah, I think that they're going to win this game handedly, but in the way that they're going to control the tempo. They're going to run the ball a lot more than they did in the past. They really bolstered that running back room. It sounds like the things that they've been talking about, Alex Atkins has more of an intent of being Big Ten styled in his approach offensively and his play calling. I think with DJU now in the mix, like we saw him last year at Oregon State leaning on Damian Martinez, I think they're going to just try to open up the offense by running the football, building play action off of it. I think that, like you mentioned, there is a lot of roster turnover where there's going to be some bumps in the early quarters of this game. It's going to be a little bit slow for them to get going. More importantly, they're playing on a soccer field in Dublin. I think it's supposed to rain a couple days before. It's not supposed to rain this Saturday. That field has typically been a little bit slow just in terms of the output of performances that have been played out on it. So I think if Florida State musters up a lower point total than we're used to seeing last year where they were putting up points in bunches, I don't think it's a negative side of how this team is going to perform in 2024. But I think where they're going to really dominate in this matchup against Georgia Tech is their defensive line. Patrick Payton and Marvin Jones Jr. have the potential to both be first-round picks if they hit their ceilings and they produce at the level that they're capable of getting to. That Georgia Tech offensive line, I don't see anyone that's going to be able to slow them down very much. They could be teeing off on Haynes King. And then the last piece of this is Florida State needs to do a good job of bottling him up, corralling him, not allowing him to get outside of the pocket. And if they can keep him in check, that would be really good proof to me that their defense is going to be just as stout as it was last year.
So from a gambling standpoint, Florida State, an 11-point favorite at this point in time, could change. 55.5 is the total. What do you have?
The one I've been pushing is taking the under for all those points that I just made there. I really don't think that 55.5 is a lot of points for a game that they're traveling to go to another country, playing at an earlier time on their just biological clocks, playing at noon Eastern, just from like how their bodies are going to be feeling when this game kicks off. And then, as I mentioned, like the field itself, playing on that type of grass, playing on a soccer stadium, I really don't think that there's going to be a ton of massive splash plays that run this score up. But it all is going to come down to both these teams do run the football effectively, and that is what's going to slow things down. I really love that 55.5 number, taking that under.
SMU is in action this week. They're a massive favorite in their game at Nevada. But I've seen some people that think SMU could be a little sneaky in year one in the ACC. Could they contend?
Contending is a little bit too spicy for me, and I know that the Memphis fans are familiar with SMU and how good they were last year in the American. It's a tough transition to go from a G5 to a Power 4 conference, especially in a year where they have so many premier teams. This is going to be one of the most competitive years for the ACC with Virginia Tech on the rise. NC State is going to be really good this year. And then outside of the favorites that are in the conversation to win the conference in Miami, in Clemson, and in Florida State. But I think that they're going to make a ton of noise. Elijah Roberts comes back, who was one of the most productive sack getters along that defensive line. Preston Stone was a highly coveted recruit for the G5 level, and now he has all this experience and brings it to this opportunity in the ACC. So to that point, I think they can be sneaky good. I think they could be 8-4. Maybe if things go really well, they go 9-3. Maybe they upset somebody. I totally see that being on the realm of possibility for them. But winning the conference is just going to be tough for them this season just because of how competitive they're going to be in the ACC at the top.
When the preseason poll came out, Joe, in the top 10, the talk was, okay, which team, and there could be more than one, doesn't stay in the top 10. Everybody jumped on Michigan. You lose your quarterback, McCarthy. You lose Corum, the running back. You lose your coach, Jim Harbaugh. Are we jumping on that too quickly? Is Michigan still loaded where it won't be much of an issue for Sharon Moore to make that transition from Harbaugh to Moore? Or are they really going to struggle where they won't be a top 10 and maybe even fall all the way out of the top 25?
I don't think they'll necessarily struggle to that point where they completely fall out of the top 25. I have faith that Sharon Moore is going to get the most out of Alex Orji, who's going to be the starting quarterback, presumably, this year. I don't know if they've announced a starter yet there at Michigan, but he makes the most sense considering what they called upon him to do in those Wildcat situations. And how many times do we remember last year where he came onto the field, everybody knew he was getting the football, and he still picked up huge plays because he's that powerful of a runner. You got to look at this defense, though, that, yes, they put out a number of guys to the NFL, but their two top guys were Mason Graham and Will Johnson. Those are the guys that are locked, in my opinion, to go in the first round this upcoming year in the 2025 NFL draft. And then Kenneth Grant is a behemoth in the middle on that defensive line as well. They're going to punch teams in the mouth just like they did last year. If there is any slowdown, it's just going to be from having a completely reset offensive line. All of those dudes are gone. It is a completely new look O-line that we're going to be seeing. Them falling out of the top 25 is a little too much for me, but I could totally see them being more hovering around 15 purely because of their O-line and because they have a little bit of a tricky schedule. We got to remember that they're going to be taking on Texas in a few weeks.
How do you view the race amongst the group of five, and what are Memphis's chance, you believe, of being that team in the playoff?
Yeah, I think that they're right up there with Boise State in that competition to be that G5 team that makes the playoff. They're my two favorites right now. I know Liberty's in the conversation, but their schedule is just so paper soft that even if they go 12-0, I wonder if there might be a debate on who's the more deserving group of five team. And I would rather take a team like Memphis, which has done a great job in recruiting and done a great job in transfer portal acquisitions. And more importantly, they have the best quarterback of the bunch of talking about any of these group of five teams. Caden Salter's great, but I think that Seth Hennigan just is such a premier passer for the group of five level. He has been so great for Memphis over especially last season. I would put a lot of faith that Memphis could be that team that wins the American, playing some tougher competition than a team like Boise State and a team like Liberty, that they will prove themselves as maybe that go-to team for the group of five.
All right, so let's get to the SEC, and obviously Georgia and Texas, one of the newcomers into the league, are expected to be battling at the top, but there are other players in this equation. How many others, and who are they, do you think will actually be legitimately competing, not only for maybe the conference title, maybe they won't, but they'll be certainly competing for a playoff spot? Who would those teams be? I would assume that you figure Georgia and Texas at the top.
Yeah, right now I see Georgia, Texas, and Ole Miss as the teams good enough to compete for an SEC championship game right now. Outside of that, you could add Tennessee and Alabama into that conversation. LSU has a very favorable schedule as well because They play a lot of teams at home, especially getting to take on Alabama at home is going to be very favorable for them. I could see as many as 6, 7 teams that are just in the general playoff picture, but I would not be surprised by the end of the season if the Big Ten is a little bit down this year outside of Oregon and Ohio State, and the Big 12 just doesn't have a second team worthy of being put into the playoff, that we could see 5 SEC teams. I think that there are 5 teams good enough in the SEC, which couldn't be a hot take because they just put out such good competition every single year. But more importantly, the way that their schedules are shaped up, a lot of the top teams don't really run into each other as much as they have in the past. There is a really good chance we could have a ton of 10-2 teams that are good enough to be pushed into the playoffs. Teams like Missouri, as I mentioned, Alabama, Tennessee, LSU. There is just so much outside of the favorites of Ole Miss, Texas, and Georgia that are going to be in that convo for the SEC.
You mentioned Ole Miss being in there. What do you like the most about Ole Miss?
I like the most is Jackson Dart coming back for his 3rd season as starter, and Trey Harris emerged as a premier target for him, and they brought in Juice Wells. I think that this passing attack is going to be the best that we've seen under Lane Kiffin. I always come back to when I'm picking a team to either win a conference or just to have a really good season is a returning starter in an offense that they're familiar with. That familiarity and also just seeing the progression for a guy like Jackson Dart makes me feel really optimistic. I think that he is capable of being in the Heisman conversation if he plays as good as he can. He has all the tools to be maybe a first-rounder in this upcoming draft. And then on top of this, they were extremely aggressive in the transfer portal on the defensive side of things. I'm really high on what Walter Nolan and Princely Uman-Mielen, who were at other SEC programs, were once highly recruited kids that didn't fully develop but showed a ton of flashes on film that now get to work with Pete Golding and are going to get the coaching and the exposure. And Uman-Mielen has even talked about how the coaching just feels different at Ole Miss. I think that those guys are going to have big years. And if you've got pass rushing talent like that in the SEC on both sides, it is going to be really hard to move the football.
I agree with you 100%. That's a great evaluation. He's Joe DeLeon. One final thing for Joe as he joins us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. You can follow Joe on Twitter at Joe DeLeon. All right, unless you're waiting to do it on your show, have you picked your 12 teams for the playoffs?
I have picked my 12 teams for the playoffs.
Okay, so what are they? Or who are they?
So, I mean, the obvious the obvious top 2 that I think, a lot of people keep pushing for. I'm not trying to go against the grain. I have stuck with Georgia at number 1 and Ohio State at number 2. Outside of that, I've been very bullish on what Notre Dame can do. I think that their schedule is so favorable for them to end up maybe being that 5th or 6th seed. Right now I have them projected as the 5th seed, that if they go 11-1 and they end up picking off a team like Florida State at home, that is going to be a big resume builder for them. Number 3, I had Miami, and I'm really high on Miami. I think they go 11-1. I think they win the ACC. I think Cam Ward has a phenomenal season. Utah feels like the easiest pick for the Big 12 to be that 4th seed. Texas is who I had at number 6. Assuming that they just miss out and maybe lose the SEC championship game. 7, Oregon. I had 8, Ole Miss, who we just talked about a second ago, who I really love what they're going to do this season. 9, LSU, purely because of that schedule that they've been granted. And then the last 3 that I had was number 10, Tennessee, number 11, Florida State, and then my G5 pick was Boise State, which was just barely edging out Memphis.
Wow, so no Alabama.
Yeah, I've been kind of going back and forth on Tennessee and Alabama, and honestly, you could put either one in that spot. I think it's going to be one or the other. It all kind of comes down to, does Nico end up having as big of a year as some people are projecting, which I think he could have a fantastic season.
He's Joe DeLeon, college football NFL draft analyst, co-host of the Ruffino and Joe Show on the Believe Network. Check it out. Follow him on Twitter at Joe DeLeon. We'll be talking to you down the road, Joe. We always appreciate you getting up early for us. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thanks, guys.
Take care. Next week's our SEC predictions. I started to put it together. I don't think he's that far off. I got this vibe about Tennessee. We'll see.
So if he was correct in his other stuff, but incorrect and Memphis did get in for the group of 5 over Boise, you'd have Memphis at Notre Dame.
At Notre Dame. I've actually been there and I've seen a game at Notre Dame. There's nothing like it. That atmosphere is unbelievable. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough, the owner of the company, at 901-438-5084, locally owned and operated. Or you can go online at newroofmemphis.com. So they do offer financing with different plans and options to choose from, including a 6, 12, or 18-month same as cash option. They'll work with your insurance company or out of pocket, whatever it takes to get that roof repaired or to get that new roof. Pinnacle does residential and commercial roofing, so business owners, property managers, obviously homeowners as well. If you have a leak or any other roofing problem, call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They are licensed, bonded, and insured and a member of the Better Business Bureau. Get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof. And all their work is satisfaction guaranteed. That includes carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, put up fencing and siding, rotten wood repair, whatever you can't do yourself. Call the experts at Pinnacle. Quality work at a very reasonable price. They've been with us for a long, long time. They've been in the market for a while now. They are good people, and they are good at what they do. So call Brandon today at 901-438-5084. He'll answer any question you have, or go online to newroofmemphis.com. Coming back with our final segment. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous, a legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
The Mitsubishi Final Days of Summer sales event is going strong at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. So come get bang for your buck with 420 total range and 64 combined MPGE in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. We Gossett $34,770 or $299.98 a month. And check out 2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. We Gossett at $27,245 or $349 a month. Plus, you'll never go wrong with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get to Gossett Mitsubishi today at 1870 Covington Pike and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com. That's Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
RZO 35297 MSRP 47470 36-month 30,000-mile lease 4453 do it signing 1,095 acquisition fee 25 cents per mile excess wear and tear. Eclipse RZO 65440 MSRP 28745 includes all rebates and incentives PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill and I buy houses, any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone, call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian or visit us online at BrianEllerRoofing.com.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. So Mike Gundy, the head coach of the Oklahoma State Cowboys, hasn't quite been Dabo Swinney, but pretty slow to embrace all the changes, the NIL and everything in college football, but certainly has, because if you don't, you're behind the eight ball. So this is a story from from USA Today. University leaders at Oklahoma State are waiting for U.S. District Judge Claudia Wilkin to finalize the NCAA antitrust settlement that will open the door for colleges to directly pay athletes, and the implications of it often occupy Gundy's mind. Quote, this is from Mike Gundy, "It's very intriguing. Everybody's waiting to see if she signs off on this settlement. Then we'll have parameters, and then we can start attacking how you distribute $20 million amongst 105 people. So it's very interesting to even think about that, almost unfathomable. Of course, that would be more than 105 people, right? That's just football. If you go with 105 scholarships, there's also all the other student athletes." But Gundy also went on to say, the good news is the next 5 months we can just play football. There's no negotiations going on now. The portal's over. All the negotiations history. Now we're playing football. The business side of what we do now, we have to have those conversations with them. So tell your agent to quit calling us and asking for more money. It's non-negotiable now. It'll start again in December. So now we're able to direct ourselves just in football, and that part is fun. I love it with Gundy. Quit calling me. Quit calling us. Stop it with negotiations. Even though, again, technically the NIL came through the collectives and all that jazz. But we'll see what happens. I would imagine that they're going to pass it, and then it's a whole different ballgame.
This is crazy. This was just tweeted out by Sports TV Ratings. The Caitlin Clark effect.
Right.
The Indiana Fever game, which apparently Friday night was on Ion, which I have no idea how to
Ion Sports,
outdrew easily either of the two games that were played Saturday on CBS.
Look, people are delusional, and especially the players, if they don't believe that she is the main reason, if not the only reason why there are eyeballs on the WNBA.
Their game on Ion was 1.2 million. The Saturday CBS games drew 577,000 for the Lynx Mystics game, and the Liberty Aces drew 874,000. So that's the best team in the league against the Aces, who are also, I think, pretty good. And then Indiana back on network television on Sunday on ABC, 2.2 million. It's crazy.
No,
Ion. People are watching Ion, but they won't watch but not CBS, just because of her.
We're running out of time, but man, this is crazy too. Top-ranked tennis player Yannick Sinner from Italy tested positive twice for a banned anabolic steroid in March, was stripped of his prize money and points earned at Indian Wells. He will not be suspended because an independent tribunal said it was not intentional. How can you determine that it's not intentional? And you got the U.S. Open coming up. Pretty amazing that the number one player in the world is going to be able to play, and I'm being sarcastic here, at the U.S. Open.
Who was the tennis player that, oh gosh, what was it? He lost to somebody in the tournament. Apparently they don't those two don't get along. And he then, in the finals, the guy that beat him was in the finals. And he showed up at the finals.
No, he didn't.
And he put on a pair of sunglasses and a hat, expecting nobody to recognize him, I guess, and was trying to heckle the dude. And they kicked him out. He thought a pair of sunglasses and a hat.
That sounds like Nick.
Yeah. No, it wasn't him.
No, because Nick's
this like dude who's not like on the big tournament. There's like a challenger or something. But he thought he'd just show up in a pair of sunglasses and a hat, and nobody would realize who the heckler is.
That's crazy.
What bizarre stuff. Genesis Diamonds. Folks, if you're looking for that special piece of jewelry, head on over to see Genesis Diamonds. Poplar and Perkins Extended. That's where you'll find out. We're going to find an amazing selection of jewelry, pre-owned Rolex watches, whatever it is. If you're thinking about popping the question and getting an engagement ring, Genesis is the place to go. True direct importer pricing. You're going to get a great deal. You got all the top designers to choose from. You're going to get great service with the great people over there. Genesis Diamonds. That's where it's at. Any special occasion you're looking for that special piece of jewelry, go see the folks at Genesis Diamonds.
Big thanks to Mickey Barker, to Ed McDougal, and Joe DeLeon for joining us today. Tomorrow we'll have our Memphis football predictions for the 24 season, plus the return of Jerry Palm. We'll talk Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole. It starts at 7 a.m.
By the way, it's Bernard Tomic.
Yes, that's right.
Tomic, I remember him. Waldo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next, so stay tuned for that. For Eli Savoy and for Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great Tuesday, everybody.